Willie, mercy, baby. This is Shaska Willie. You're listening to Broken Kayfabe with Frankie Seabreeze and Ariel Bologna and Cheese Sandwich. They're like Coca-Cola. They're all over, baby, on whatever network that you find it on, baby. This is Navy SEAL Body Guy, and you are listening to Broken Kayfabe with Frankie Seacrest, Ariel Agbalog, and the Brothership. Now that half-wit, Shaska Willie, better not step on this, or I will step on him, Jack.
Welcome to Broken Kayfabe, the unofficial after show of Breaking Kayfabe with Baldrin and Barry. Ariel Agbalog, my wonderful co-host. What's up?
Tired actually, but I'm doing good. I'm feeling good right now. I just have a cup of coffee right now. I'm slowly sipping on a cup of coffee. Just trying to, stay a little conscious of it. I mean, mentally be here for this for the podcast as I usually do. Just try to, not get all. See, I'm getting verklempt right now. But
verklempt, that's a heck of a word.
It is. I don't even know how to spell it.
We're off the heels of a great episode last week. Who was last week? Kevin Carter?
Yes, it was.
Kevin Carter was great. I look forward to talking to him again. This week we've got Michael Herrick, your friend and mine, coming up.
Yeah. I guess he's everyone's friend. I don't know. I mean, we're all brothers, right? Brothers.
That's true. That's true. A great 2-hour conversation. So we'll keep this intro short so that we can get right to it. I don't want to have, super long shows. We got to keep the people entertained. Our 50 listeners a week. Well, actually, we're up. We're averaging about 65 a week now. I'm thankful for that. For that. We'll take it. While I'm saying I'm thankful, I want to thank Jeff and Barry for letting us do this after show. Sort of a addendum to their podcast every week, Breaking Kayfabe. And if you don't listen, if you somehow found our podcast without finding theirs, please go download it. Breaking Kayfabe with Baldrin and Barry. Much better than our podcast, much more professional, and super awesome guys that I look forward to seeing June the 4th at the CWF Legends Fan Fest in Lutz, Florida.
Absolutely. I mean, we are the official after show of Breaking Kayfabe with Baldrin and Barry.
Unofficial.
But unofficial, yes. Well, that is true because we hardly talk about anything they've talked about on the podcast, on their own show. We just, we do our own thing here. We talk about the Brother Shippers. We talk with the Brother Shippers, I should say. We let them come on here and tell their stories.
Well,
and I love that.
Well, this week, you and I talked about the Jeff and Barry reviewed a top 10 list of the 80 action films. We really had nothing to add to that. They reviewed a movie that neither of us watched, so we had nothing to add to that. So we're just kind of going to go on the same lines and talk a little bit about everything
that they didn't talk about.
Yeah. But along the lines of the 80s action films, and here in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about how did you watch movies in the 80s when these movies were coming out. But before we do, let's talk about the big news in wrestling this week. Dum, dum, dum.
Yeah. What was it again? Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I drew a blank for a second there. Sasha Banks and Naomi, right? Walking out on Monday Night Raw.
Yep. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I'm still thinking. At first, I thought it was a work. I'm still thinking it's some sort of work. But now that I actually think about it, what's the end game? You know, I mean, what kind of storyline would they actually play off of it if it were really all just the work? And I don't know. I guess I don't know what goes on behind the scenes in WWE. I don't know how long this whole friction thing has been going on with them, and yeah, it's quite a thing right now, especially when WWE put out a statement and they're talking about, you know, how their product is scripted and all this and then they were there for rehearsal, and I'm like, wow, I never really think of a wrestling company. Well, I guess WWE is more of an sports entertainment company, you know, revealing all of this, even though everybody knows already that it's scripted. I guess, you know, I guess they do rehearsals and things like that, but just hearing or reading WWE actually saying stuff like that on a statement is kind of like, okay, is this what's really going on here? How about you? What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what really happened. You know, they're in the in the arena before the show. No idea. We got WWE side, and there was like a tweet that was supposedly someone that knows Naomi or Sasha or something, and they said that they're, you know, like from their point of view of how they weren't used and blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. So let me say this: I think that WWE comes off looking like a bitch. Mm-hmm. By just posting that statement and, you know, throwing it all out there. If it were me, I probably wouldn't have said anything. I would have no showed it, you know, no sold it, you know, not said a word about it. But I mean, here's the WWE who has this habit of, or history, I should say, of not following through on storylines they start, or just completely changing things and dropping people's first names just because Vince McMahon wants it that way. I mean, and all that is stupid. And you know, there's a quote from Vince McMahon of like, he doesn't care what the fans want. He'll tell them what they will want. And right. and that's just, look, that's just impossible. Right.
Right.
So that's my take on it. I mean, it's unfortunate that they can't reach some agreement, and Sasha and Naomi feel like their only recourse is just to walk out and leave, because, you know, Steve Austin did that and he lost a bunch of money, and he says that was his regret in the wrestling business.
That he couldn't come with like a conclusion with WWE behind the scenes. You know, I think that's what he.
That was when he walked out with. He was supposed to go under to Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. Yeah. Okay, I remember now. And then yeah, he regrets not, you know,
fulfilling his obligation.
Exactly. Yeah, doing it, I guess, professional.
And he lost a bunch of money.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, you know what you said about WWE putting it out there, and you would have just kept it. You wouldn't have talked about it at all if you were WWE, correct? That's what you were just saying a while ago. Yeah, which makes total sense, because nobody knew outside of whoever knew, but like we wouldn't have known for sure if Naomi and Sasha walked out and WWE didn't say anything. Like, yeah, nobody else would have known. The public wouldn't have known. We wouldn't have known that the main event was changed from this and that to this and that. We don't know the card. And they could have totally just tried to make things right with them behind, you know, privately, or made it play out like some storyline. I don't know. I mean, there's different. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, that, you know, they shouldn't have said anything, Because it does make them look really bad right now.
I mean, it makes them look soft and like Karens, and they're telling on somebody,
Yeah.
you know. And I mean, and it's look, the fans don't care about that stuff. The fans want to be entertained. Entertain us every week, and we're happy.
Yeah. But I have no idea what's going on. I don't know. I mean, lately I noticed that Sasha hasn't really been thrust upon. Okay, I shouldn't say that word, but hasn't been put on a pedestal like she's usually. Like she would be like one of the top 4 girls in the company at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like even though she's a tag team champion, she's been put on the back burner, so to speak. And they're highlighting Becky, Charlotte, Ronda, and whatever. And maybe she's frustrated. Maybe it's totally seems like it's ego driven on her part. I don't know. It could be. Could be something else. I could be totally wrong. Could be something that, someone pissed her off or something. I don't know how Naomi is in it. She's hasn't really been a top talent or on that upper echelon, I think. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what kind of grievance she has with WWE at the same time. Would this affect Jimmy Uso's status within the company?
Yeah, he'll have to get another ride to and from the show.
Exactly. See, I thought about that too. Like, okay, what's going to happen to Jimmy, if anything, given his prior, DUIs and stuff like that? Because they've been very, very lenient on him, WWE.
Man, haven't they?
Yeah, it's crazy. But we'll see what happens.
We'll see, right?
Yeah.
So cool. That's Sasha and Naomi drama from the point of view of Ariel and Frankie.
Two guys who don't watch the WWE product.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I watch pay-per-views and I sleep. I mean, I fall asleep watching pay-per-views, especially when The Miz comes out. So. True story.
Yeah, you're not a fan of The Miz, huh? What about Maurice? You a fan of the Maurice?
I am, yeah. But the person she's attached with is always also on the screen when she's on.
Kind of ruins it, though.
Kind of ruins it. Makes me fall asleep, like I said. So, no, I just The Miz is fine for that company. He's a company guy. He does everything that they want. He doesn't get into like trouble with the law. He's probably a cool person. I don't know. But as far as he has that very punchable face,
Oh, I do.
Yeah. So I guess he's doing his job. He's a heel. So I don't.
He's a heel.
But yeah, that's The Miz. That's The Miz for you.
That's The Miz, and here's the Michael Herrick. All right, Ariel, I'm gonna let you start it. Go ahead.
Why? Okay.
I knew that would be your reaction.
That was great.
This is a wonderful special event. I have Ariel on the latest in the day that I've ever had him on. Usually it's about 9 o'clock his time, 12 o'clock my time. And Ariel gets to talk to one of our special guests.
That's my cue. sorry. This is as Frankie said, this is the latest I've ever been on. It's dinner time here. I'm usually I'm usually asleep right now, and I'm usually awake during the morning when I do the podcast. And this is also my first group interview, I guess you can say. And basically it is. You could edit that one out. I don't know. I'm verklempt right now. Verklempt. But I'm excited. I'm a little bit tired. Just woke up not too long ago, but I'm still a little bit groggy. So bear with me. Sorry about that, everybody. we are here with our special guest, right? Can I introduce him or no?
Yes, please.
Sure. Okay. Good brother, Michael Herrick. And yeah, we're just gonna talk whatever. I don't know how to do this, Frankie. You put me on the spot.
You know, Michael's special because you and Michael have been sending each other gifts and stuff before, right? Then Michael, you had suggested Ariel to be my co-host.
Yeah, well, when you had messaged me when you were getting ready to start the show, and you were doing your first episode, and you were talking about strange foods when Jeff and Barry had covered that, and that was sometime around Christmas. I can't remember exactly if it was before Christmas or after.
Yeah, it was
started this, but I had been about a month behind on Breaking Kayfabe because my daughter and I had been watching all kinds of Christmas movies and specials and things. And so I said, I haven't even heard that segment. There's no way I could really participate well on that. But who would probably be great at this? Ariel. And you said, oh, that's a great idea. And then I was really glad to see that, it worked so well that you brought him on then as your co-host, because you guys are a lot of fun to listen to every week.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. So there's a little tie-in. You guys have been buddies in the group there for a little bit, right?
Yeah, we've talked back and forth on Messenger for, I don't know, a couple of years at least.
And sent each other gifts, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I sent, what would have been the fall of 2020, I sent Ariel some Golden Girls masks that my mom made. I bought fabric to have her make some for my wife, and I knew Ariel loved the Golden Girls, so I had her make up a few more, and I sent them to him. And then he sent us this huge box of ice cream sandwiches, which were amazing.
Yeah, those are the ones you got from Gold Belly. What's the name of the restaurant?
It's ice cream factory. It's directly from the factory, actually.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it is a Bay Area like institution basically, and I wanted to share a little bit of that with Michael because you can't really get it anywhere else. So it's my favorite ice cream sandwich by far. And yeah, I just, I was thinking like, what can I send him that he probably has never had before? So I sent him that.
I had never had that before, and everybody else loved them.
Well, yeah, Michael's also thankful that you did not send him Og's penis.
I'm keeping that for myself. What are you talking about? That's for me. That's such a treat.
Yeah, definitely.
Delicacy.
I'm good on that.
Well, so Ariel, why don't we break kayfabe on something? Why don't you tell Michael what I sent you?
Oh, okay.
Because I noticed you didn't post it in the group or anywhere.
No, I didn't want to post it. That was I didn't want
personal.
So I'm sorry?
I said that was personal and private.
Exactly. So, but yeah, so Frankie sent me a black and gold wrestling leotard. I guess it's a leotard, right?
Well, yeah. We just call them wrestling tights.
Wrestling tights, but it has the strap, the like Jerry Lawler two instead of one or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I forgot what Jerry Lawler wear. But it has a strap thing on it. So it hugs everything, but it was great. It felt great. I when I opened it, it was folded up in a nice little package. I was like, what is this? And I see, the black and gold. I thought it was at first I thought it was a mask, a wrestling mask, like a luchador mask. And as I was opening it up, there was just more and more fabric. I'm like, okay, this is not a mask. What is it? And then I unravel the pant leg, and I'm like, oh, it's tights. But then there was more fabric, and I noticed there was a full with the strap and everything like that. And at first I was like, oh wow, this is wow. I didn't know what to think, but I got excited and I put it on immediately. And it was my first time wearing any tights of any sort, and I liked it. I took the picture, and I wish I had a Gold Dust mask from when I pre-ordered his book that came out years ago. It was a little gift that came with the book, and it's just those cheapy Halloween masks that had that really thin rubber. It was just just covered the face but not the back. And I kind of wish I had face paint, because of course it was a yellow and black type of mask. It didn't really go with the gold, and I really I wish I painted my face for that occasion, because that would have been awesome. But yeah, I loved it. Now I need like a pair of boots, but don't ever send anything like that. Don't send boots. I could do it myself.
What size are they? What size are you?
Don't worry about it. Boots and a cape. That would have been nice.
You need to get some paint before you make your FanFest appearance, so you can come in dressed as Gold Dust.
That is true.
And then we can have a main event match between Gold Dust Ariel and the Hollywood Kid.
Oh boy. Yeah, no. So we were talking, and Ariel's like, he said never put on a pair of wrestling tights. I was like, oh my gosh, man. Because before I moved here, I would go and play tennis, and I would always play tennis in my tights. And so you would have like this, you'd see HWK on the side, red, and I got blue ones. I got all different color ones. I sent Ariel a couple pictures of like all my tights that I had laying out.
I think he sold a house wearing tights.
Didn't you
like close out a
yeah. I
real estate.
I went to the closing with my tights on. And I thought, man, every wrestling tights weren't easy to come by, 20 years ago. And but also, when you were wrestling, and they didn't have them when we were kids. We had underoos. You could dress up like Superman with like the little underwear and a T-shirt, or the Flash, or Batman, or whoever. But you couldn't be your favorite wrestler. Well, now all that's possible. So I said, oh man, he's never put on a pair of tights. I'm gonna send him some. So I went on eBay and got him some tights and sent them to him.
That was awesome. Yeah. The golden guy. I don't know. I don't know what to call myself. Like golden girls, but the guys.
Figure it
out. Yeah, I do. I have time. I have time to work out too, because that was not flattering in the midsection area. It's like,
it was funny because they wanted to know your measurements, and that's why I was asking your measurements. And then they're like asking me things I didn't know, and they said, "Can you just send a picture of your body?" And so I wasn't going to ask you to send me a picture of your body. I said, "Look,"
right.
And they said, "Yeah." They said, "There's no refunds." I'm like, "Hey, just send these extra large. Just send them, and if we need to get them taken out, we'll get them taken out, or we need to get them taken in, we'll take them in. Just send them." And so they did.
And it actually fit. I mean, it's not loose anywhere.
They are tights.
They are tights, yeah. So
they're not looses.
No, exactly. So they did their job, but they're a little bit long on the pant leg, because I'm not.
Yep.
Yeah. So I could just hem that up or cut them, or I don't know.
Cut them off. I
mean,
all that should be tucked in your boots anyway.
Oh, there you go. So you have to get boots now. Yeah. So yeah, I actually want boots, but I'll do that myself if ever.
If ever. Yeah, we could get you a mask.
I could do that myself too.
Yeah.
Or face paint or something.
Highspots.com.
Mm-hmm. I could get a wrestling ring there too, huh?
Yeah, man, they've got it all. I just bought a bunch of stuff off of there today because It was Michael, the owner's birthday today, and he was doing a birthday bash and giving some deals. But he and I have been friends since like 96, 97. And he's donating some stuff to the guys that are the recipients of the Joe Christie Memorial Brothership sponsorship, the Fan Fest thing. So I thought that was really nice. I'm trying to, and he's donating it. So I thought, let me just try and spend some money with him. Sure. And help him out. So I bought a couple round of goodies because last year I came, Michael, with all that stuff.
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
That I'd gotten with my daughter when she was into it. So Ariel, my daughter, when she was into wrestling, I would buy these mystery boxes, and they were $25. And so if my daughter got an A on a test or whatever, I would give her something out of her box, and that was like a treat for her. Sometimes a promo, Funko, whatever. Well, then when COVID hit, she got out of it, and I was left with like all these boxes of stuff. So I took it to the Fan Fest and basically gave it to the boys.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, other than COVID, why did she fall out of wrestling?
Well, because she liked to go to see it in Largo, but she also liked to watch the shows. So she did not like watching the Thunderdome with no crowds. And so she was all into the WWE, and then Becky Lynch got pregnant, and so Becky Lynch was her favorite.
I see.
And then plus it was like none of her friends were into it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a whole bunch of things. But if we went to like a live show, she would still love it.
Oh yeah, that would have been cool, especially since she does performing art. And one of the things that she liked is like when they would do like the road trips, and then they would have them just talking and hanging out. And with COVID, they stopped doing all that stuff. I see. Yeah.
And that's one thing that I want to bring to the Fan Fest, Michael, is I want to get video and audio of the brother shippers interacting without making it too weird.
Well, you have to avoid certain people then. Like Zaha, you're going to have to completely avoid him if you don't want it to be weird. His kids and his wife, they'd be fine. But Chris himself, no, you don't want that.
Is he really like that?
No, he's fine.
He's fine.
I really didn't know Chris before the Fan Fest, but everybody jokes him so much that it made me uncomfortable. Like, you'll see him post a picture of him doing something, and someone will say, "Oh, you fat Mark," and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, come on."
Where's the lie? I mean, let's be honest. Now, Chris is a good guy, other than the fact that he held me up for $200 while I was in the hospital. Other than that, he's great.
Well, let's hear that story, please.
Yeah.
So, back in March, when you talked to Travis and Chris on the last show you put out, they talked about their trip to Ohio, the Bobby Fulton thing. Well, they actually only went because I was going, and I was like, "Hey, you guys." I was joking with Zaha. I'm like, "Hey, look who's going to be here. You should come to this." And he messaged Travis. He's like, "Hey, are you going to this thing?" Travis said, "Well, I wasn't going to, but I can." And so then, it ended up there was going to be 6 of us originally. So we rented a house on Airbnb, and one other guy had to drop out. And then the day before we were supposed to go, I woke up and my heart felt kind of off. And I was pretty sure that I was in AFib. Again,
can you explain what that is?
Atrial fibrillation. Your heart is not beating in the proper rhythm. And I had a bout of this in 2017 on my birthday, actually. I was in the hospital on my birthday that year. And it turns out I had sleep apnea and didn't know it. And sleep apnea can trigger AFib because you stop breathing when you have sleep apnea. When you're asleep, you stop breathing, and that can throw your heart out of rhythm. And so they had to shock my heart back into rhythm. And I've been on blood thinners and blood pressure medication since then.
So how do they shock it?
They put like a great big kind of a sticker type pad on your chest and on your back.
Mm-hmm.
They knock you out, and then they shock your heart. Now, the first time they had to shock me twice to get it back into rhythm. So when this happened in March, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's what this is, but let's kind of wait out the day and see. Maybe it'll go back into rhythm on its own, because that can happen. And it didn't. It just got progressively worse. So I went to the emergency room, and they sent me to the Heart Center in Indianapolis. And then the next morning, they shocked me back into rhythm. Now, I was ready to take off and go to Ohio because Travis had flown. It was cheaper for Travis to fly from Charlotte to Chicago and ride with Zaha than it was for him to rent a car and drive from North Carolina to Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Because rental car prices are insane currently.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to ride with them. Well, my wife she wasn't going to tell me no, but she did not look okay with the idea. I could tell. So I said, well, no, we'll just go home. That's fine. Because I was going to have her go run home, get my suitcase, and then we were going to meet them at a gas station somewhere in Indianapolis.
Right out of the hospital.
Yes, that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to miss my trip. What the hell?
Yeah, of course.
This was an event that had been postponed for 2 years due to COVID.
Uh-huh.
It was originally supposed to take place in March of 2020, and the day before, 2 days before the event, is when states really started shutting everything down.
Mm-hmm.
And so the event got postponed, and then again and again. Anyway, so we were then, down 2 people on this trip. And so I had told Chris, I'm like, just, I don't want to put any financial burden on anybody else that had paid for their share of the house. Just go ahead and keep my money. But I've messed with him a couple of times and been like, you stole my money. I didn't even go. I was in the hospital. I could have died, and you took my money. What the hell? But no, he's a great guy. He really is.
Yeah. He really made Jen and I feel very welcome at the Fan Fest, and then I came over and hung out with you guys, and it all went downhill from there.
Yeah. Listen to us talk about Lex Luger in 1988 to 1991.
Yeah, Ariel, I'm sitting at this table, and there's probably 6, 7, 8 guys around there. And Jana had a work issue come up, so she's over there just texting. And then they start talking about this wrestling stuff. And in my head, I'm like, I used to consider myself a wrestling nerd. I'm not a wrestling nerd. All these guys are wrestling nerds.
Yeah,
it's true.
But when they're talking about Lex Luger had a great 93, bro, I don't even remember. I barely remember my 93, much less Lex Luger's.
Exactly. Yeah. It's amazing how a lot of the brother shippers retain information like that, dates, venues, matches, stuff like that. I don't even remember what happened like this past WrestleMania. I kind of forgot.
You and I, we rarely talk wrestling.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, there's nothing for us to talk about in terms of wrestling right now. I mean, I don't watch the product. You don't watch the product. I mean, I watch New Japan. You don't watch New Japan. Well, I kind of watch New Japan. I haven't lately. I haven't seen New Japan in like a month. But yeah, we just talk other things and food and stuff that's going around in our lives and stuff like that. So,
It's great.
Yeah,
it is.
We don't talk about wrestling, and the other thing we don't talk about is we don't talk about Bruno. No.
Really?
Oh, Ariel's face was priceless on that.
So Michael was one of the first guys that I wanted to get on, but he's also the busiest.
Oh no, not at all.
Okay, he just didn't want to do the show. He's like, how much money is it?
Yeah,
can I get my $200 back?
Want the $200 back?
No, my biggest issue has been having a time and a place to record where there wouldn't be any interruptions, or I didn't have to worry about being too loud. Because, like right now, I'm sitting in my living room. My wife's office is directly to my right.
Mm-hmm.
And then during the day, to my left, in the dining room is where Ashlyn does school. Because I homeschool her. And she does most of it online. There isn't as much that I do hands-on now as I did before. But, there's constantly somebody coming out and asking a question or saying something. So during the day wasn't really going to work. And so then at night, just on the other side of the dining room is Ashlyn's bedroom. And on the other side of the living room is our bedroom. So I would have to, try to be really quiet or something. And that doesn't always work.
Well, we don't mind interruptions. Usually it's my dog. Sometimes it's Ariel's dog. But interruptions have never been a thing with us. Like, for instance, watch this.
Oh my God, he pulled his penis out.
We'll see if he edits that or not, huh?
Yeah. I hope not. We need the ratings. No, he did not do that, people. I don't even know if this video is going to be out.
He just walked away.
He did.
He left.
What a dick.
So, Ariel.
Yeah.
You've been busy working for a month straight.
Yes.
You have probably not got to see how horribly the Oakland A's have been playing, have you?
Every time I check, they've won.
Oh, we haven't checked very much then.
Oh, really? Didn't they just win today or yesterday?
They did.
They
did win
against
today.
Detroit, right?
Yeah, they beat Detroit.
Yeah, see, I only check like once a week. So there's probably one or two wins a week that they've done.
If you're checking and every time you check they win, you need to be checking every day.
Yeah, I haven't been.
This is on you. These losses are on you for not checking.
Yeah. Oh man, I kind of checked out when they got rid. They did the purge. They got rid of everyone. I mean, they brought in some cool prospects, but
sure. I mean, this is round 4. Rebuild round 5. I mean, I lived through the Ariel Prieto years.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, the early mid 90s with.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good. We stopped talking about him just in time for him to come back.
That's pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So see, anytime you want to talk, you got something you want to get off your chest, you just say, "Hey, Frankie, I'd love to. There might be some interruptions." I say, "I don't care. Come on, brother." I used to edit the heck out of our podcast. So if Ari and I talked for an hour, I'd edit for a whole another hour. I'd listen to the whole thing, make all the adjustments, maybe an hour and a half. Now I'm like, let it go. Just let it go. I mean, we got 50 people listening to it every week, I mean, we couldn't get any less.
Yeah, we can. We get 49. Or 2. No, that's true though. I mean, yeah, I've noticed that there's less and less editing going on, and I'm like, what? No, but that's fine. It's how we do things. We don't sit down and plan things out beforehand. We just get ready. We just start talking. That's why most of the time I don't know what to say, or I miss my cues, or whatever.
I,
But
I'd rather it be natural, and
yeah.
I do cut some things out here and there, but I usually write down timestamps, so I got a pen there.
Mhm.
But I want to feel natural, and so what if I stutter? Who gives a shit, right?
Sure.
I'm not on CNN or TV. No one's paying me millions of dollars, so there's other things I can do with my time. I got a wife and kids and 3 dogs. So I don't want to spend all the time editing my fumbles.
Right.
So Michael, let's talk about you. So tell us about.
If you want to lose listeners, that's a great way to do it.
Well, we'll gain one. I'm sure Zaha will listen to this one.
Oh, I'm sure he won't. He's too busy.
If you're on there, come on.
Nah.
How many fan fests have you been to?
I've been to 2. I went in November of 2019 and then last November.
Okay.
So I guess that's actually the last 2 events that took place.
Oh, okay. So Jen and I were at the 2019 one briefly.
Were you at the November one, or were you in the one in the summer when Ricky Steamboat was there?
Oh, that's the one I was at. Steamboat, Larry Zabisco, Bob Orton.
Yeah, I wanted to go to that one, but it took place about I think about a week after my grandma had died, and we had the funeral and everything, and there just wasn't time for me to make that work to get to that one. So I made sure to get to the next one then.
Yeah, that's too bad. That one is the one that I won't get in detail about it, but I just didn't know how it worked.
Right.
So I basically paid the $60 and walked in the door and looked around, and some guy offered us a bunch of tickets. And I didn't even know what to do with them, so we left.
Well, I've never been to another fan fest of any kind, wrestling or otherwise. But the way that Barry and Dave Pinzer do this, I think, is absolutely ingenious.
Tell us.
You pay one price, whether you get the general admission ticket that just gets you in to the fan fest in the afternoon. That price, you get the photo and autograph opportunities with every single person there.
Mm-hmm.
You're not paying $30, $40, $50, $80, $100 to meet someone for 30 seconds and get an autograph and a picture taken with them. They limit the number of people overall. They only sell so many tickets, and it gives you an opportunity to have an actual one-on-one conversation with the talent that's there, and not just stay there and talk for a minute or two. You could talk 10, 15 minutes, and the thing is, no one else cares that you're taking a while, because they know they're going to get their chance. They can get in line for somebody else.
Yeah, that's true.
While they wait, and then they can come back and have that chance to interact. And it's really amazing. And then you get the Ultra ticket, I believe, is the top of the line that gets you in for the coffee in the morning with, let's say last time it was Jerry Jarrett. First time I went, it was Rocky Johnson. And you get an hour or so of stories and memories of their career and talking about people they worked with and, important events that took place. This year, that is going to be Medusa Maselli, I believe.
Yes, you're right.
So then you get your photograph and autograph opportunities in the afternoon with the actual fan fest with all the talent. Then you get the dinner, catered dinner by the hotel, and that's when you get the 2.5 hour, whatever it runs, time with like the feature guest. The times I've been, it was Barry Windham and J.J. Dillon, and then this last time was the Rock and Roll Express. This time we have Demolition, and you get to hear them talk about their careers. They open it up and you can ask questions. And one thing you'll find is it's a very knowledgeable group that shows up for this event. So there are some excellent questions that get asked. And it's not always questions you would necessarily normally think. Some people do take time and really think kind of outside the box and maybe ask about a lesser known part of the person's career, or maybe something even outside of the wrestling business, that this person is known for, or maybe they played some kind of professional sport before they got into wrestling, something. You get that kind of in-depth question, and it's really just an amazing experience. Even if the talent isn't necessarily like who you grew up watching or your favorites from that era, it's the whole thing is just such an amazing experience. You also get the after party with the Ultra ticket. You get the after party with another guest. Usually you've got a little bit of a break between dinner and the after party, maybe half an hour, and that starts up. But then beyond just the event itself, it's just everything you get with the actual members of the brothership. And it seems like this event, we're probably going to have the largest contingent of
I hope so.
shippers, because each event, it seems like more and more people from the group show up because they hear the stories of, like last time, Thursday night, we're sitting around the fire pit out by the pool at the hotel. And Barry says, would you guys want to maybe chip in some money if I can get Bill Alfonso to come and hang out tomorrow night and tell us stories for a while? We're like, absolutely. So he gets out his cell phone, calls Bill Alfonso. Next thing you know, that's set up for Friday night. A bunch of us went out for lunch Friday afternoon to the Columbia restaurant, which is an amazing place. Absolutely a place you have to go to if you haven't been. It's the oldest restaurant in Florida. It's been there since 1905. Absolutely beautiful inside, all kinds of ornate woodwork, and just amazing. But then, Friday night, then we hung out in the event room with Bill Alfonso telling stories for a while, and then we all headed across the parking lot to Glory Days and, hung out and had dinner and talked for a while. And, it's just, you get to meet different people. You get to hear about their life, what got them into wrestling, and, other topics of interest. And you just get to learn about people more so even than you do in the interaction through the Facebook group.
Yeah, that all that's true. I hope that they have a sellout this year. I really do, because I think that they deserve the success of it.
Oh, definitely.
And you mentioned the talent that's there, but then also there's vendors like John Crowther,
Yes.
the guy who does the art. I'm sorry, I can't think of his name, but there's the vendors that are there. Who
Neely's friend Adam Turkel.
Yes.
Designed the posters. Yeah.
Yes. So there's these vendors there where you get cool stuff. Howard Baum had his stuff there.
Yeah. Jeff had a table last year selling his books and I believe some older wrestling magazines.
Yeah, he had some Pete Letterberg.
Yeah, Pete couldn't make it last time. I believe he'll be there in June. And Pete does amazing photo collages for all of the talent that are there. So,
really?
You can buy either individual, a collage for an individual talent, or he does a package for everyone that you can buy then and get autographed. And I've done that both times. And actually, this last time, I took the collage that I got from Pete and I took it up to the Rock and Roll Express to have them sign it. And Ricky Morton looks at it and he said, "This is amazing. Where did you get this?" And I said, "Oh, there's a guy that makes these every year." I said, "Hang on, and I'll let Barry know so he can get you one." And he said, "Oh, that would be fantastic. I'd love to have that." And I think every year Pete makes, copies for the talent so that they can have that, because he has so many photos that he took and other photo libraries that he bought over the years, and just fantastic pictures.
Yeah, Pete's a super nice guy. I messaged with him on Facebook once and bought some photos for a project that I'll be disclosing a little later, not today.
Interesting.
But he was really, really, really nice.
Yeah, Pete's a great guy. I mean, everybody that I've met at the Two Fan Fest couldn't be nicer. And it's like, Frankie, we've talked before back and forth on Messenger about the fact that everyone in the group, other than the one who we shall not mention from Hopewell, everybody seems to be a decent person. And that is so rare.
So crazy
on the internet.
Yeah. Errol, did you want to jump in?
No. No. No, absolutely. Everything Michael said about the brothership is correct. Unfortunately, I haven't been to any of the fan fests, so I can't really chime in on that. Other than, I hope to attend one soon, because it sounds really fun. Yeah, I didn't really grow up with a lot of, with the wrestlers, or those wrestlers that performed in Florida. I mean, until they went to like WWF or something like that. But other than that, it's still pretty interesting to listen to their stories, stuff that I've never heard of, a lot of stuff I've never heard of before. So it's always fun to listen to those and learn something new about them. And like you guys always talked about, the brother shippers, they make going to the fan fest worthwhile, and I can't wait to go when I find time.
Well, my unpopular opinion of the fan fest is that, and I kind of hate to say it, but the best part isn't the talent. The best part is not the talent. It's like, come for the talent, but stay for the brother shippers. So the best time that Jana and I had was after Jerry Jarrett, and Jerry Jarrett was awesome, and he was very nice to Jana, which goes a long way, right? He could stand there and talk to me, some Mark, asking him stupid questions about what he booked, but then he's like, "Hey, and you're Frankie's wife," blah 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 blah. They start talking. But after that is when I came out and I hung out with Michael, Chris Zaha, Kevin Dingham, Travis, all those guys. So for me, those times that we spent outside of the wrestling stuff, the brother shippers, is the best part of the CWF Legends Fan Fest.
Oh, for sure.
And then at dinner, that I had dinner with Max Spiker, and then later on, Jamie Ward came over, and Barry and Chris Spiker, and that. So Jana and I were at the restaurant earlier than everyone else, and we had a couple tables, but Jeff wanted everybody to sit at one big long table. And I know the service is never great when everybody's at one big table. And we were having a really good conversation with Max Spiker. And he had come in and was going to wait with everybody else, but he had a cane. And so we had a table, and he just came and joined us. Well, we ended up talking, and he didn't end up leaving. He stayed there and had dinner with us and hung out with us. So, I mean, that was a very, serious but meaningful discussion that we had with him, sharing things about how Jana and I met, and his past, the passing of his wife, and whatnot. and it was completely different than everybody sitting around bullshitting about wrestling. It was, and I am much more comfortable of having a intimate conversation with one person than I am having a bullshit session with 5 people around me. So that all worked out 100% the way that it should have. And then we went back and, more shenanigans were going on there at the hotel.
All kinds of shenanigans. And one thing I'll say, every time we've been to Glory Days and there's been a big group, they have done a phenomenal job. I think the only thing I've seen in I think 4 different large group, 20 plus group settings there, they mixed up 2 people's check one time. And other than that, I mean, they're quick with your food. They, are attentive, make sure you've got refills, whatever you need, and they could not be nicer. And I spent a few years in the restaurant industry. I would not want to see a group that big walk in necessarily.
Go ahead, Ariel. I know what you're about to say.
No, yeah, that always concerned me. Like when you guys talk about when you guys hang out afterwards, usually I'm always thinking it's a big group. And when you guys go out to eat, I'm always concerned about how the restaurant's going to, how the staff is equipped or prepared to handle a group such as yours when you guys walk in. So I'm always thinking okay, maybe, their orders take a long time to get done, or they get the wrong food item or this and that. That usually comes along with a large group of people.
Oh, sure.
And I'm sure a very busy restaurant. So that's always in the back of my mind. I'm like, I don't know how well those restaurants their service is, but the fact that you guys are there together talking, it'll just make the time go faster.
Yeah.
And you probably don't even think about oh, where's our food? I mean, if it takes a long time, sure, you're gonna start asking where's the food, but at the moment you're there, you're talking, you're having fun. 20 minutes goes by really quickly. Yeah, I don't know. It was just that was always in the back of my mind about food service with a lot of people.
Oh, sure. And usually somebody runs ahead restaurant and gives them a heads up and says, hey, we've got a big group coming in. Do you have room where you can scoot tables together?
Oh, okay.
I know on the Friday night last time, we had probably a table of about 20 where they put, 5 or 6 tables together, and then 3 booths right next to the tables, all filled up there. And, but yeah, I mean, they may be used to big parties, I'm not sure, but they always do just a fantastic job.
Well,
that's why we go back every time. I mean, the convenience factor of being able to walk across the parking lot is a huge plus. But, they do such a fantastic job when we get there, and there's never any complaints or anything.
Well, if I was the manager over there, I would be in constant contact with the hotels. And I would say, what do you have going on this weekend?
Oh, I'm sure.
And then I would look and see, okay, you got the CWF Legends Fan Fest. I would look back to the previous one and say, okay, well, they were last here a year ago, and this is the hours, and then I would see that from, 9 to 10, we did $500 hour instead of the normal $200 hour. So I would know to have a couple extra servers still hanging out.
Right. Yeah, any good restaurant manager should be, I don't know so much anymore if checking the newspaper is a thing. That's what I did 20 years ago. We would check the newspaper and see if there was some kind of event coming up on the weekend, or, was there a sectional basketball games this week or whatever, to know so you can staff differently. And with there's 3 hotels there, Frankie?
Yep.
within close proximity. So I'm sure that they have some sort of relationship and have an idea of, when there's some convention or something going on, to be prepared for that. But the location of the Fan Fest is just perfect because you have Glory Days. There's a fantastic little brick oven pizza place or wood-fired pizza place right over there. There is a sushi restaurant, I believe.
Yes, we ate
Maybe
there.
a Mexican restaurant. There's an ice cream place.
And a Mexican restaurant. Yep.
I mean, it's all within walking distance from the hotel. You don't have to leave.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
Sounds awesome.
We do make some excursions, Portillo's. Last year we went to Culver's for Ozzy's birthday on Thursday night. We went to the Columbia last year for lunch. But like on Saturday, the day of the Fan Fest, it's easy to be able to walk across someplace and grab lunch. Whether you go in, if you've got like the Ultra ticket, you get in a half an hour or an hour early to the Fan Fest. So you can get in, talk with everybody, get your pictures, get your autographs, get out, and go grab lunch. And you don't have to leave the property, really. It's all right there.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, Barry couldn't pick a better location, I don't think.
Yeah, we'll give Barry credit for that.
Yeah, I mean, the whole event, it's just also run so smoothly, and the talent is always great and friendly, and I can't say enough great things about the job that Barry does putting the event on.
Well, so cool. We've put over the CWF Legends Fan Fest enough.
Our check should be in the mail.
So, Michael, I have a question about your beard. How long have you been growing your beard as of now?
Or
how long does it take you to grow that?
Ariel, I love you, man. Seriously.
Last time I trimmed it was probably, first part of the year. I had cut it down pretty short. And
Ariel, you're the greatest guy, man. That question is an amazing question.
No.
Well,
go ahead. I'm sorry, I was talking over you, Michael.
No, you're fine.
No. I was just telling Ariel, like, seriously, that's an awesome question because you do have a spectacular beard. When I met you, it was more of Amish roadkill. Because you might have had a little bit of the mustache, but it was really thin.
I always have the mustache, but I keep it trimmed down pretty well. I'm due actually to thin it out and to trim it up right above the lip. I can't stand having the hair get long enough on my mustache to get down and where I can feel it actually on my lip. That drives me nuts.
Bro, when I see guys with like the mustache covering the lips, I think, how do you kiss your woman, man?
You don't have one.
No, but you see them, they do, and it's like,
and you're chewing on it half the time.
Yeah.
You have to be. You have to be chewing on it every time you eat food.
Yeah. So you did. You had you were very well. Your mustache was all thin, and I'm like, this guy looks like Amish roadkill here, ECW legend.
Yeah.
See, I was trying to grow my beard out like that, but I had no knowledge of beard maintenance. I just thought growing it out would be fine. And then I read all this stuff about, maintaining and shaping, based on your head shape or whatever, how you want it, whatever, all that stuff.
I'm terrible with that stuff.
It's a whole process.
It is.
And then there's product that you buy to condition it.
Beard conditioner, beard balm.
Yeah, beard butter, beard oil.
Yeah, the beard butter, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a kit one time, and I've used the beard oil out of it, and the rest of it sits up on top of a cabinet in the bathroom.
I see.
I brush it when it gets long. I trim it up.
Mm-hmm.
That's I try and keep a fairly straight line along the jawline, but it's not always.
Yeah.
It's always that good.
Yeah. So, I tried doing that. I found out it's my hair has like it grows a little thick here in the chin area, but on the sides it's a little thin. So when it grows out, there's still some like patchiness, but I've been trying to take steps in having it thicker. So I would just trim it or keep it like a little bit long here on the sides, a little bit longer here, short on the actual side area, and I use a derma roller to that little prickly stuff that you thing that you roll on your skin to maybe rejuvenate my follicles and have the hair grow a little bit thicker.
Okay.
Seems to be working kind of. I don't know, but maybe it's just because I've learned how to maintain my beard a little bit better than I did before. So I use the wash, I use the butter, I use the oil. So far so good. But thanks. But yeah, I really wanted a longer like beard, but I actually got it a little bit. My goatee, I had it like pretty long, like
Yeah,
whatever.
my chin there, the goatee definitely grows.
Yeah.
You can see here. If I really let it go, I can shape it up like Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I wanted to do that, but it was actually a little bit thin here, and it grows to the side, so it's naturally wavy.
Sure.
And then it kind of pissed me off when I was eating soup that my goatee was in the soup, and I'm like,
yeah, or it drips down in, and then you have to wash the
Yeah, and then I was like, you know
that
what?
a lot.
I can't do this. So I trimmed it off, and I just keep it short now, and I prefer this look for myself.
Yeah, it looks good, so it works.
Yeah. So I was just like admiring your beard.
Thank you.
I was like, I wanted that.
Yeah. See, I'm too lazy to go through all the proper maintenance like you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine going through with all the specific wash and the conditioner and all that. That's just so much extra work. I'm lazy.
Mm-hmm.
I wash it with shampoo. I brush it.
Mm-hmm. See, I thought I would be saving money
too.
Mm-hmm. You see, I thought I'd be saving money by not buying shampoo anymore, but then I end up buying shampoo anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, whatever.
And if you're buying actual beard wash, you're spending more.
Yeah, that thing's like $20 a bottle.
That stuff is expensive.
It is. What are you doing, Frankie? Why is your penis out again?
My daughter is asking me for help with math, and I'm telling her, "Hey, I'm recording." But if she sends me the picture, I can help her get the right answer.
Okay.
Because she's over with her dad.
Oh, okay. I see.
I know. I feel so. I'm so lucky to have such a good relationship with my stepdaughter. I don't call her my stepdaughter, but that she's over there with her dad and her stepmom, and she's asking me for help. She could be asking them, and it would make a lot more sense if she were asking them, but she asked me and would rather ask me. So,
well, I mean, maybe you know better.
Well, I damn sure do.
Too.
But it's that she and I have a very special and fun relationship, and it makes me happy that she's and she loves the fact that I record and I have a podcast, and actually me and her brother sat and recorded an episode that I'll post sometime.
Awesome.
Oh, awesome.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah,
they're good kids.
That's good.
So what's next on the agenda here besides beards?
Well, Michael, you said you were in the restaurant industry for a while, and how was that like? I mean, if you want to talk about it, I mean,
I mean, it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I could pretend to be a people person to make it work.
Of course.
I worked at a Pizza Hut for 4 years, started as a driver, worked as a manager most of that time. And then I owned my own restaurant and bar for a couple of years. I started out as one of 5 partners, and then we're down to 3 of us by the time I sold my shares. But I can say, being 23 years old and a borderline alcoholic, owning a bar, not a great thing.
Right.
Not a great thing. But, life, you learn from life experiences like that, and you learn not to go into business with friends. There's definitely a reason they say that. But, it was okay. It had its moments that were great, and it had plenty of other moments that I would have rather been doing anything else.
I thought about that recently. Is that was the lifestyle, though. It wasn't that we drank any more or than the normal person. It was that was what you did.
I drank a lot more than a normal person.
Probably not the normal person in the restaurant industry.
Well, okay, that could be true.
I was thinking about in Chapel Hill, when I worked at the restaurant in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where I went to college. We would, and the people that worked there would make $50-$60 in a shift, and then would immediately go out and spend 20 or 30 of it in the bars. And that was the way that just that it was. And no one was like, oh, well, you're an alcoholic or a drunk. It was just, that's just what it was. And you got up the next day, you went to school, and then you went and worked, and you did it again.
Yeah. Well, and especially if you were working nights, what else is there to do when you get off work?
Well,
you get off work at 11 or 12 o'clock. Movie theaters are closed for the most part by that point. Bars are about the only place there is that's open. So if you're going to go out and be social and do something, that's kind of your option.
Well, and it's also stressful.
Oh, yeah.
It's a thankless job, and
for sure.
You have great customers, and you have the bad ones too. And you have those stressful ones, and you have to go and you talk about it with your buddies, and there's insurance or whatever. They might not do it as much, but they still do it. It might be Friday afternoon, and they go, "Oh my gosh, let me tell you about this horrible person I had on the phone."
Right.
Or Ariel, you would say, "Oh my gosh, I haven't had a day off in 3 months."
Yeah, I haven't had a day off in 3 months. Actually, 1 month right now. This is my day off.
So with my kids, I said to them, you do not want to work in the restaurants and bars. And that's, so my son, he's going to school for marine mechanics at a technical high school. And Jana had worked food service, and I worked food service, and we don't want that life and that lifestyle for them.
I can see that, but I also think that it wouldn't hurt everyone to at least spend a small amount of time.
Amen.
Working in a restaurant, so you understand that side of it.
Amen.
Because those terrible customers that you run into, they've never been on the other side of it.
That's true.
Let them work a Sunday noon shift with the church crowd coming in, and they get treated the way that they treat servers or restaurant managers, and let them experience that side of it. It's going to change. And you can tell who's worked in the industry and who hasn't, a lot of times based on how they tip and how they react to situations.
Speaking of bad customers, do you have any stories regarding horrible customers or some craziness in the restaurant industry?
I don't know about horrible customers necessarily. We did have one lady. You remember when they first introduced the state quarters?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We had a lady who came in every Saturday for lunch, and I made the mistake of being nice one time and checking through the quarters I had in my register because she was looking for because they released like 4 at a time.
Yeah.
4 a year or something. She was looking for a specific quarter. I said, let me see if I've got them. Well, then she expected that no matter who was working. Every Saturday when she came in, she expected, no matter how busy it was, she expected somebody to go through and check the quarters to see if they had the one she wanted.
Gosh.
And I did it that one time to be nice because she seemed like a nice lady. And she was nice for a while. And then, you get a Saturday where I think it was an AAU volleyball tournament we had going on at the high school down the street. And all of a sudden, the dining room at Pizza Hut is completely full. And there's me, one kitchen employee, and one waitress. And we've got 70 people, 80 people in the dining room. And they staggered in. Within half an hour, the place is full. And so that lady was finishing up her meal and wants me to go through and look for quarters for her. And I'm like, look around. There is no possible way. My kitchen guy is out running drinks to tables because we can't keep up. I cannot look for quarters for you. I'm sorry.
Wow.
And she did not understand. It happens. We had another time where the west side of town was completely out of power. And there had been national coupons come out in the newspaper. And we didn't know the coupons were coming out. So now Domino's, they're out. They have no power. 2 pizza places uptown, local ones, they're out of power. We did a Friday night business with about 2/3 of the staff we would have on a Friday, with it storming and delivery just going crazy. But, you adapt, you figure it out, you make it work. And then you go out that night and you drink till 4 a.m. and go home and sleep for 4 hours and get up and work 13 hours the next day.
Do it again. Yeah.
To be in my early 20s again and be able to drink and not get a hangover.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
Michael, did you hear Ariel's story of his one day in the food service industry?
Yes, I listened to that today.
Yeah.
While I was out trying to do a couple of yard work projects that did not happen. But yeah, I heard about the broken carafes and how good he was at frothing the milk, a natural milk frother.
Exactly. If I could froth milk all day, I would.
Ariel, let me ask you. So that was early. That was like you had your worker's permit at that time. What job did you end up getting afterwards that you actually?
I was in the movie industry, actually. That being said, I worked in the movie theater. That's what I tell people. So before that, I worked at JCPenney at the local mall, and I did that for a while. It was a seasonal job, so just folding clothes, customer service. Yeah. I was just in their sports department when they had one.
There you go.
That was the best department they had there. I mean, it was that's the one I knew about. I absolutely suck at folding T-shirts. I found out, even with the little guide, the little folding thingy.
Yeah.
I could not do it. I don't know how. I still don't know how to do it, to fold a T-shirt properly. Then after that, I got into the movie business. So I did I worked in the movie theater for a year. It was fun, actually. I learned a lot. I became an assistant manager, actually, in like 6 months of being hired.
Wow.
I worked in a box office. I was supposed to work concessions, and then I got moved to the box office. So I sold tickets. I would go to concessions if they needed help. And so I did the inventory also. Oh my gosh. Sunday mornings, I did inventory for the entire theater myself. So we get the deliveries of the syrups for the soda, bags of popcorn kernels, boxes of candies, and hot dogs, and all that stuff. We had a pallet full, multiple pallets in the lobby of all that stuff. And I was the only one that had to count it and transport everything upstairs.
Oh, wow.
And that took my entire shift to do, all 8
Oh,
hours.
I'm sure.
And that was the most, I hated that. Nobody wanted to do it, and they needed someone to do it, and I mistakenly volunteered. Well, that's probably why I got assistant manager.
Yeah.
So
we're willing to take on that responsibility. Let's pile some more on you.
yeah, exactly. So I had to count like a ton of popcorn kernels or something like that, boxes and boxes of candies, hot dogs. Those soda syrups are so heavy. I didn't realize how heavy those.
So was it the bag in the box?
Bag in the box.
Okay. Do you know the difference between the regular and the diet?
Yeah, the diet's lighter.
5 pounds lighter.
5 pounds
pound
lighter.
difference is the amount of sugar that's in the regular soda.
Exactly.
The regular Coke or Pepsi, whatever, that box is a 50-pound box for 5 gallons.
Yeah, it's
the
heavy.
diet is 45 pounds for a 5-gallon.
Mm-hmm. It was so noticeable. I'm like, oh.
Yep.
But transporting that all by myself, along, like I had to take upstairs. We had our storage was upstairs, so I would take the dolly or the little the dolly, and then take it to the little elevator, push the button, run upstairs real quick, take it out, store it, put the thing back down the elevator, run back down, keep doing that all day. I was so exhausted.
At least there was an elevator. I mean, you could have been hauling them upstairs.
You know what? That's a good point.
That
would have been so terrible.
Because when you first said the storage was upstairs, I thought, boy, who was the genius that designed that?
I know, right?
I mean, you should have your concession stand in front of some kind of storage area.
Yeah, there was a little mini storage area, but the main one was up where we kept everything else. But we had people would bring down, bags of popcorn kernels and stuff like that, and put in that temporary storage downstairs by the concessions. And there was one time where the X-Men movie came out. So this was back in 2000. X-Men movie came out. We turned the entire lobby into a little comic book convention. So we hired vendors to sell comic books or their like little comic collectibles. I used to draw, so I ended up drawing various X-Men characters and printed them out and sold them as not sold them, but gave them away as a little coloring, like a little coloring book type of thing. Not a book, but
that's awesome.
For kids. Yeah, so I drew like Cyclops, Jean Grey, I forgot who else, but I used that, printed them out, just gave out some when I sold tickets. It was fun. I love that. And
that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it was a cool thing. It was like, no one's ever really done this.
Sure.
I've never seen any other theater do it since then or something like that, or even do a little convention when a comic book movie came out. So
yeah, I mean, that's a genius idea, really.
Yeah. We haven't done it since, I guess. I mean, there was an issue with one of the vendors. I forgot what happened, but it was a thing that management had to deal with where I guess he wanted more money or something like that or whatnot. Or I can't really remember, but yeah. And There was a thing where they're talking about like never ever doing this type of thing again, but I loved it. It was so much fun. Everybody loved it. It was just a little bit problems with some vendors, and also, yeah, and
happens.
Yeah, that's true. And also the fact that the lobby got so full, and you had your gimmick tables around, and some people were kind of complaining that the ones that weren't gonna watch an X-Men movie, they're gonna watch something else. They were like, "Oh, there's too many people here, blah blah blah." It's all like, "What's going on here?" But it was a fun little experiment that we did at the time, and that was cool. I learned a lot of things about working in a movie theater, stuff that I don't eat in a movie theater because I've learned some of those things, like popcorn. Like they use like a shop vac to clean up the popcorn thing and then put in a garbage bag for the next morning. I was like, ooh, I don't want to do that, or I don't want to. Yeah, don't get popcorn first thing in the morning when a movie theater opens up. That's usually last night's popcorn mixed in with a new batch.
Okay, now question about your popcorn machine.
Yeah.
For the oil, did you use 5-gallon buckets?
Oh, that I don't know. I did not. Oh, I don't remember. I don't recall.
When I was in high school, I ran the concession stand for boys basketball games.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a 5-gallon bucket, and you would put this metal ring around the bottom of the bucket, well, about halfway up, I guess, to start. And it was a heating element, essentially.
Wow.
And it would, because the bucket would come in and it would be solid. And you'd have to get the heating element on early and get it softened up. And then it had a line that ran up to the machine. And you'd get the oil put in with the popcorn. But it was always a pain to have to change in the middle of a game or something, because that heating element got hot. And there was a screw that you would have to loosen and slide it off then, and you burn the shit out of yourself.
Oh, I never did that. I wasn't privy to that part of it.
They may have had a different system. I'm sure they probably.
Errol, did you guys get bag of popcorns in, like a huge big bag of popcorn in?
You mean the kernels?
No, that are already popped.
Already popped? What do you mean, like have them in, or?
So I used to run a restaurant bar that was next door to a movie theater.
Okay.
And I remember seeing them off of a truck get like huge bags, like trash bag size of popcorn kernels already popped and with the butter and stuff on them.
Huh.
Really?
Yeah.
No. We did that at night when we stored them for the next morning, but we never got them outside already popped. We popped them in there. We had the big like 50-pound bag of kernels, or something, whatever, how many pounds it was, and we just popped them there. But at the end of the night, when we had leftover popcorn, we take the shop vac. We just because they put them in the this like glass display case. They just dump all the popcorn in there, and then just use the scoop to get it out. But at the end of the night, when there's leftover popcorn, take the shop vac, vacuum all that stuff, all the popcorn, and then just started scooping the popcorn out of the shop vac. I don't know how clean that is. I don't know.
Well, was it a dedicated shop vac only?
I hope so. I hope so. I was looking at it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm never going to eat here again or eat popcorn here again. I don't want to ask.
Michael, that's exactly what I was thinking. If it was like a dedicated, then I'd probably be fine with it.
Yeah. If that's the only thing it had ever been used for, that's okay.
I'm pretty sure.
If during the day it was used to clean up some kid's puke in Theater 4, then you've got an issue. Because it probably wasn't sanitized in between times.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure it was a dedicated one. But afterwards they would put in garbage bags. It's still weird to see, though.
I mean, it's not going to be that great first thing in the morning.
No. We never threw away hot dogs, no matter how old they were.
Oh wow.
It's expensive. They said it was.
That's a health code violation.
That is a health. Yeah. So at the end of the night, whatever hot dogs weren't sold, refroze it.
Oh, okay.
But still, you don't do that.
It's
and
not,
then you just
it's not ideal, but they may have actually been following proper food handling guidelines then.
I guess.
I mean,
it's just weird.
It's not what you necessarily want.
Right.
But
Exactly.
it may not have been in violation, potentially.
Potentially.
Because there are certain procedures you have to follow for cooling down hot food and how long things can be stored and all of that.
Yeah.
Which orifice you can stick it in.
That may be more like of a local ordinance than than the health department. But
exactly. Yeah.
So now, Ariel, you said you used to draw.
I used to, yes.
Do you just not have time anymore, or
no? I lost the I guess desire or motivation to. I wanted to be like a comic book artist or a graphic designer growing up, so I drew a lot. Mostly, I ended up turning into like an anime style type of art, and then I did a little bit of landscaping sketches for a bit. But after high school or in college, I wanted to become a graphic designer, and I took a course, but it wasn't something that I wanted to do anymore. I was changing my mind. At the time, tech was coming up,
Sure.
Internet was still fairly brand new. Tech companies were everywhere, but then I went to more towards IT instead and stopped drawing. And now I'm like, I'm not really confident anymore. I haven't practiced it in a while, so
yeah,
I just stopped that altogether.
When's the last time you actually drew something?
It was years ago. I can't really recall. It was years ago though. It's been a long time. Probably something for my niece when she was a baby or a toddler, around like 2015, 2016. And that was it. Yeah. I would do like stupid sketches here and there, but nothing that I would actually sit down and take my time to do. So, yeah.
So I know we have some really great artists in the brothership.
We do?
Yeah, Rick Lonan, Bill Merriweather. Dr. Spiker, she's not in the brothership specifically, but she's a talented artist also.
Wow.
You'll have to ask her about that next time she's on when you do the Bruce Springsteen episode.
Yeah, we did talk about it a little bit. We did talk about it a little bit with when we had them on, and they would go to conventions, and she would draw stuff, and the people would love it. Ariel, I feel bad that you've stopped drawing.
Don't. It's fine.
No, it's actually
no, because you're gonna make me start doing something. You're gonna have this weird idea.
Hey, my birthday's coming up.
See?
I'm so sorry I asked about your drawing.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No, Michael, you were right on what I was thinking. I was like, damn, if this guy had some talent, it was something he liked to do, why did he stop? I was thinking the exact same thing.
I could draw the Hollywood kid getting super kicked by the Young Bucks.
Well,
I should do that for your birthday.
So when I was living near Nashville, and I would go to the Nashville Fairgrounds, and I would get the programs. One of the pictures that I vividly remember is it was Brian Christopher, and Brian Christopher was super kicking somebody. And I didn't know it at the time, but that was drawn by Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
And, you think about that and you look back at that time and it's like, that was this kid coming up in the wrestling business. And now Brian Christopher's dead, and Jerry Lawler, he just posted something on Mother's Day that had Brian Christopher in it. And he was still, lamenting the loss of his son. but he still got all those drawings, and if I'd been smart, I would have kept that program. I bet I did. But anyway, you see where I'm going with that? It's like, man, if you can draw and you like to draw, and that's give you some joy, you should do it. If it doesn't anymore, and you think, oh gosh, I've lost it and I suck, then definitely don't do it. You don't need to be reminded that you suck, especially by yourself.
It's something that I have to commit my time and effort to doing. So,
but at least you have those skills and that talent.
Yeah, it's something that I developed. It wasn't really. I don't think it was really like too real, like natural. I mean, there's some artists out there that are so good and they do it naturally. It seems effortless to them. I had to develop mine, and once that that little spark kind of died out about being an artist and whatnot, I just didn't really want to pursue it anymore or really do it. I mean, I can, I guess, but
that makes sense, though. I mean, if you had years of a desire to do that, for a living, and then, you changed your mind and changed courses, then yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah. I could do it for fun, but I just need to be motivated. I need something like a muse. I need some sort of inspiration or whatever. I don't really see one. I might do landscaping again. Those were fun. It was like a bit different because it's not like figures or people or characters that I'm drawing. It's actual a real life thing that I'm looking at, and it's a lot easier because it's static. It just stays there. So
sure,
and it was quite different. I think I still have some drawings somewhere in storage. I have to go look for them.
I'm glad that you clarified that you were drawing landscapings, because when you first said it, I thought you said manscaping, and I really wasn't sure what you were doing with your talent.
I'm sorry.
Or to know more. I was kind of confused.
Well, that's why he was asking about your beard. He was like, hey.
I was going to draw it.
You need me to draw you a design? Like Jeff Hardy does in his?
Exactly, like little lightning bolts on the side or something.
Yes.
Oh man, good times.
I don't do any of that fancy shaping or anything. My beard is a nice cover for the extra chins. You can't see how many are here because the beard is covering them up.
Do you do the because right here? Well, I have a little neck beard growing, but okay, yeah.
Full on.
Okay, yeah. I tried to do a hard stop, like a defined line.
Right.
I guess a finger or two above the Adam's apple.
Right.
I guess that's what they recommend or whatever. And I try to do that.
Who is they? Who's they?
The internet of bearded people or beard guides that I've looked up over, past couple of weeks or something. Like proper grooming techniques for a shorter beard. You have nothing, Frankie.
Yeah, he's sitting there rubbing his beard. I think he's trying to figure out if he's supposed to change things.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
And I'm fine with my salt and pepper in it. I don't give a shit.
Oh, you can see I've got the streak right there.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, that's from my daughter right there.
I have strays that are turning white. I just pluck them off.
If I did that, I would have a huge hole right in the center of my chin.
Right?
Because that's the whole section right there, pretty much.
This is what not having kids is like. Yeah, but
I have this weird thing where like I think that I'm younger than I actually am, and so I'm not gonna say the person's name, but there was a brother shipper that I met, and I would swear he was 10 years older than me, but he's actually a couple years younger than me. And I'm saying that because when I am out and about, I think that I am this 23-year-old. I think I have I don't know, that I don't look like I have a dad bod, that I am in my head. I still think I'm as cool as I was when I was in my early 20s. Right.
Owning a Mustang will do that to you. Especially a convertible.
Switch to a minivan, you'll no longer feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the solution.
Yeah. Well, you know, when I was at Andy's performance night, I'm looking at these guys. I'm like, I can't tell if this guy's older than me or younger than me. But I'm like, okay, he's got a bigger beer gut. You know, I don't know. And then he'd have a kid that was like 5. And I'm like, well, okay. So I realized this weekend. This is true. What I'm about to say. If I'd had a kid when I was 18, that kid would be 30 now.
That's crazy.
Right? So my oldest kid now is 15 and my youngest is 13. So I see these guys, I'm like, is that what I look like? I mean, I dress a little funky because, and my joke is that my flamboyant clothes make up for my lack of a personality. But I'm like, is this what I look like? I look like this guy. Look at this asshole over here. Like, I'm gonna be Harper. I look like this asshole here with a beer belly and his socks pulled up to his knees, his compression socks. You know, the things that us dads end up getting. Is that what I look? You know, with the beard. That's what I look like. Growing the beard to cover his chins. I look like this asshole here in church. That's the things that go through my mind.
Really? I thought it would be like, okay, which one of these guys it looks like I could beat up? Like,
no.
Like which one of these dads I could beat up here?
No. It's
have
all
that mindset in your 20s, though, right?
Well, yeah.
I mean, every guy does, right? You go in someplace, you look around, you're like, I could take him.
I could take him. Yeah.
Shit goes down, I could take that guy.
Yeah.
That one over there, I'm going to stay on the right side of him. I don't think I want to find out about him. Those 3, yeah, that's not a problem.
Yeah, no problem. Bring that Hollywood kid back.
Michael, you grew up in Indiana?
Yeah, all my life.
Is that middle America?
I guess. I don't know. It's not great.
You know, I started listening to Arn Anderson's podcast. I used to have time to, by the way, anymore. And I was getting ready to start driving. I'm like, I didn't have any of the Breaking Kayfabe to listen to. And I was like, gosh, what can I listen to? And so I put on an Arn Anderson podcast, and he had a new host. So I haven't listened to it in forever. Last time I listened, it was with Conrad, and he said the guy asked something about Indianapolis, and he said like it was something like, oh, well, what do you think of when you think about Indianapolis? And he says, oh, very blue collar town.
Yeah. I mean that describes, I mean the entire state really. It was fine.
Blue collar. What's the like the number one jobs there?
Well, where I live, farming, factory work.
What are some factories?
We have 2 Frito-Lay plants, the 2 biggest in the Midwest. They actually just added on to both of them. Donaldson's, which makes industrial filters for like Caterpillar. and all of their big tractors and.
Okay, that's definitely some like Midwest shit there.
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah, totally.
I mean, when you're making stuff for farming equipment, that's definitely
There's two factories now that make seats for Subaru and Isuzu. There's a Subaru Isuzu plant in Lafayette about 35 minutes from here.
Oh wow!
The two factories here make the seats for all those cars. So there used to be more factories. A few have closed down over the last 20 years, but yeah, definitely a big factory town. It started out as a railroad town back in the 1800s, but
what town's that?
Frankfort is where I live. Our big claim to fame was we were I think the first city in Indiana to have was it gas lights or electric lights? It was called the Gem City because you could see the lights from so far away. But as far as I'm concerned, the big thing about Frankfort is that's where all of the basketball scenes from Blue Chips were shot. We're here in the high school gym.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Yep. Nick Nolte had gone and kind of shadowed Bobby Knight down at IU, preparing for the role of Pete Bell as the head coach of Western University. And so they had scouted out different locations, and they picked the high school here because it's a good sized place. I would say it probably holds 5,000 people maybe.
Wow.
For a high school gym. I mean, it's big. It's called Case Arena. It's named after Everett Case, who was the coach here in the 30s that won, I think, 4 state championships. And then he went on to coach at North Carolina State for a number of years. But yeah, when they filmed all the basketball games and everything, the producers of the movie expected that they would have to pay people to be extras because that's what they have to do so many other places.
Mm-hmm.
And the people here were like, no, you don't understand. You'll be able to charge admission. You can sell tickets, and people will line up to buy the tickets to come watch these games for your movie. They're like, are you serious? I said, oh, absolutely. You won't have to spend any money. You can make money. And Amy's stepdad, he ran the Boys and Girls Club here in town for years and years. And he helped design the Western University Dolphin logo. And he got rights to sell T-shirts as a fundraiser for the Boys and Girls Club. And somewhere, I don't know if I have the picture on my computer somewhere or not, but they actually still have one of the T-shirts, and it has his name like down for the copyright.
Wow!
Because he had designed the T-shirt and everything, and I think they raised, I don't know if they raised all of the money, but the majority of the money to buy land to build a new Boys and Girls Club from the T-shirts that they sold at the games that they filmed there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So here's kind of a deep question. How did your family end up in that town? As far as you know.
As far as I know, my mom's family's been around here for years and years. I mean, I don't have like any genealogy or anything, but I know like my grandparent, my grandpa, his family, like his parents and everything, he was one of 12 kids, and they all grew up here. And
all farmers?
Yeah, well, my grandpa's dad, he farmed just a pretty small farm, and my grandpa ended up, he was a farmer. And I mean, he went from being essentially dirt poor, one of 12 kids, to he served in the Navy during World War II. And then after he got out of the Navy, he and his older brother essentially took turns every other month helping to support their parents and the three youngest kids for a few years. And he worked 2 and 3 jobs besides farming in the those early years after getting out of the Navy, and he always had a plan for what he wanted to do. He got in with a guy that managed a farm operation for a wealthy lady here in town, and she wanted like an older, more experienced farmer to come in and farm all of this ground she had.
Mhm.
And this guy said, "Trust me, this young guy is going to work harder for you and make you more money in the long run than an older guy who's going to coast and do the bare minimum and not work as hard." And so he went from that to being able to buy land of his own, and he had, I don't know, 700 or 800 acres, I think, when he died.
Wow.
And he had their first kid, my uncle, he died really young. He was 31 in 1980. He had a heart attack. Well, I think it was a heart arrhythmia, actually, while they were working up ground in the fall. It was on Halloween.
What's that mean, working up ground?
Well, after you've harvested your corn and your beans and everything, then you go through, and they don't do it so much anymore. They've changed so much then. But back then, you took like a chisel or a plow, and you went through and you turned the ground back under.
You said I'm sorry.
No,
you
go
said
ahead.
Halloween 1980
Mhm.
is when you passed?
Yeah, my uncle, yeah.
Your uncle? That's the day I was born.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, you're a Halloween baby?
Yeah. 1980.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you get to have actual birthday parties then?
Yeah, and candy. That's why I'm
Hey.
diabetic.
Okay. Well, I didn't know, kids that always have birthdays around Christmas say they get chumped,
Yeah.
and their birthday present is their Christmas present. And so I didn't know, like, did you get a bucket of candy?
I got cake, and then I went out to get candy.
You can't beat that as a kid.
No, you can't.
That's a fantastic combination.
Yeah. Yeah, but now it's like, can't indulge in too much sweets anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I jumped on your story and everything.
No, you're fine.
Go ahead. Continue.
No, please tell us more about your birth, Ariel.
Well,
what do you remember about your birth?
a lot. No. Yeah, sorry about that. I was like, oh, Halloween, 1980. That's my birthday.
Wow, that's
That's
crazy, huh?
My day of birth.
Crazy
Yeah, it
birthday.
is crazy. Yeah, see, we're connected
Yeah.
in that way. I mean, unfortunate
Right.
circumstance with your family, but
Yeah.
yeah. So,
But no, my grandpa, he had basically 3 of every piece of equipment: 3 combines, 3 planters, 3 of the big 4-wheel drive tractors, 3 regular tractors, all John Deere stuff, because he and my uncle and a friend of my uncle's, they all farmed together. And so, you could get a lot more done.
mm-hmm.
3 guys working that way. And so, yeah, I mean, my mom's family's always been here. My dad was from Illinois. He worked for Del Monte. He got a job. His dad had worked for Del Monte for years. And
Del Monte, they make canned goods?
Yeah, the vegetable people, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he was here, and he had different growers and things that he worked with that he would, go out and supervise and make sure that they were going to meet whatever quotas they had and everything. But because there used to be a canning plant for Del Monte here in town years ago, back in the 70s. I don't know when it closed, maybe the early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how he ended up here. So, Thanks, Del Monte. I wouldn't be here otherwise.
Have you ever been to the Frankfurt Hot Dog Festival?
Sort of. I'm not a big festival person, and it's usually hot as hell in July when they do that. But I mean, it's a fairly big deal. I don't know if they still do like the hot dog eating contest and thing they did for a number of years. I mean, I went a couple times because I had a friend that would enter that, and I would go and to support him or whatever. But not really my thing. I mean, they have some little bands that come and play and vendors and things. They have a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. And it's it's just a small town.
Well, I've got a question about hot dogs.
Okay.
Why is it okay to eat a hot dog the long way, but not corn on the cob the long way?
I think just degree of difficulty, number one. But
well, I'll tell you, I used to love Mexican street corn. Back when I lived in Wilmington, there was a place called K38 that I loved, and I would get it there, and I always would take the corn on the cob, and I still do it if we have corn on the cob here. My family doesn't like corn on the cob, so I don't do it very often.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, probably because they don't have teeth. No, I'm just kidding.
I can't wrap my brain around not liking corn on the cob.
Yeah, so I would take the corn on the cob in my hand, and I would bite it like that. You guys get it,
right?
And that would be my joke. Of course, my kids didn't get it, but Shannon would get it, and that was always my gimmick up there. When I was like, "Oh, can I have the Mexican street corn?" Then I would pick it up and take a big bite, and people around me.
Did you bite through the cob?
No.
I've seen videos of people doing that.
And then you scrape it. You scrape it with your teeth. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like the bad date that you used to have in high school. And
so now, okay, do they just not like Mexican street corn, or do they not like corn on the cob? Period.
They do not like corn on the cob.
That's sacrilegious here.
So Jana had a medical condition. I don't remember what it was, but she fainted and hit her teeth and cut her teeth in half.
Oh no!
And so they had to put them back on, and so she can't bite down with the front of her teeth because she's got the fake ones. And I don't know. The kids are. I mean, look, you've got a kid, right? Kids are weird.
They are.
Kids are. I was watching these kids today, so it was 4th through 8th grade, and I was like, look at these kids. They are weird. The stuff they would do, how they would act, and whatever. And then I was like, shit, Frankie, you were a lot weirder than any of these kids.
Did you think about like, okay, I could take this kid. I could take this kid. This one might be a problem.
No.
Hopefully 4th through 8th grade, he could handle any situation.
Yeah, right.
You would think.
You never know. Kids these days, they're
big,
bigger and stronger and
they're
faster.
Bigger and stronger, exactly. It's so
yeah.
weird.
It's the hormones of McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they don't like do the actual fighting in the neighborhoods like we used to do growing up, because we didn't have video games and stuff. They do like video game fighting. So they'd try and hit me with the, the directional pad and the joystick button. Yeah, but I sat there and watched those kids, and I was like, man, they're so weird. And I tell my kids this too. So when I got my kids, they were 10 and 12, and they would just tell me these stories of those kids. And so I said, look, don't listen to these other kids. Kids are dumbasses. Not you two. You two are smart, but other kids are dumbasses.
In general, yeah.
In general, you're dumbasses. You don't know anything. And I mean, it's true, right? I mean, I can think of times when I was in my 30s that I thought I knew something. I didn't know shit. I was just a dumbass in my 30s. You know, I mean, and I still make mistakes and still think things that I shouldn't and still will do things. But, you know, especially when you're a kid, you know, but the thing about kids is even though they're dumbass, you got to convince them that they're not and convince them that they're smart and help them feel great about themselves, or else you end up like us where we just want to be professional wrestlers or superheroes, anything other than ourselves.
Sure.
That's true. Yeah.
And now I mean, I finally, probably, I don't know, 2010, I realized it's okay to be who I am. You know, it's okay to be goofy and silly and make stupid jokes, and not everyone's going to laugh at your joke. And the reason they don't laugh at your joke is because they're a dumbass.
There you go.
I love that's how your great epiphany about life is. Everyone's a dumbass except for me.
I was a dumbass. Now I'm enlightened.
Mm-hmm. But we're still, according to your logic, we're all still stuck in dumbass mode because we're not enlightened like you.
Well, if you don't laugh at my jokes.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
you know, there's
That
a lot of truth to
caveat.
what you said though about it takes a lot of people a long time to realize it's okay to be who you are. You don't have to try to be someone else to impress other people or to fit in with a certain group of people. If you don't fit in with a certain group of people and you have to change yourself to try to fit in with them, that's not the group of people for you.
Man, I'll give you two examples of that. So we were talking on the way to this spring concert to one of our friends that just saw the kids this weekend. And my daughter does not like wearing regular, normal bathing suits. She'll wear like a rash guard shirt and regular, board shorts. And so the girl that's a friend of ours says, I didn't know that Andy didn't feel comfortable wearing girls' bikinis or whatever. And Andy told her that this weekend. And we're like, yeah, if she doesn't feel comfortable, you think we're going to make her wear whatever? But other people would be like, no, you're not going to wear a long sleeve rash guard shirt and a pair of board shorts, right? But we let them wear whatever and be who they are and love them for that. And then another example of that is Andy's got this friend who comes down with tics, like Tourette's, right? Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if you've ever seen, there's videos of it now, but probably growing up, you never saw anyone with a tic or whatever. But like she'll do or she'll say, and I ask Andy questions about it, like how's she doing, what's she doing, how's she doing, like what's her tics, and because I'm really curious about it, and so I had to say to Andy, look, I'm not making fun of her, I'm just curious of what she's doing because I'm fascinated by this. So this is this 13-year-old girl, and like she will say, "You're a bitch," or "Y'all are bitches," and just come out of nowhere with it, right? And so Andy's dad got her tickets to go see AJR, and he got them last year. She's really not into AJR now. So, I mean, look, if you ever have kids or if you want to get someone a gift, don't get them a gift ahead of time until they're like done with their maturing. And, if someone likes Leonard Skinner this year, they're probably going to like them next year when they're 25. But anyway, so he got her AJR tickets and she could bring in what she wanted. Well, first she wanted to bring me, but of course that would be awkward. And so she decided to take her friend Kendall. And I said, that is so nice of you, because other people would be self-conscious, or, they might not want to be out in public with someone who has this involuntary movement stuff going on. Right. But I mean, gosh, what a smart kid that she's so loving, and she don't care. It's she doesn't care. But that's kids, and that me, I wouldn't have been that way. I would have been like self-conscious and would have been like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could hang out with this person because they would, all of a sudden curse. It would make me feel uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
So, am I the only one that doesn't know what AJR is?
I don't know.
It's a band. So it's three brothers, and they make like poppy music. You may have heard their song "Bang Bang Bang." I'm sure you've heard some of their stuff.
I have not.
Me neither.
Well, through the power of the internet, I'm going to play real quick, and I'll just play something. But they make good music. It's three brothers. They're from New York. I think they lived in the Chelsea area, and they were discovered by Sia. And every one of their shows, they will break down and show somebody how they make the music and how and so they'll and I think that's really cool. So the girl that opened up for them was so Michael, you're on TikTok. Ariel, are you on TikTok at all?
No.
Well, there's A, B, C, D, E.
Oh yeah, I know that one. I know that.
Right. One. So the girl that did that song was there, and me and Andy had this joke about swearing, and so she recorded that part of it and then sent it to me while she was there. Where the girl says, so the song is A, B, C, D, E, fuck you and your mom and your dog and your. Ariel's not laughing. He's like, that's not funny. Don't say that about someone's mom or dog.
Especially the dog.
Yeah, what'd the dog do?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she sent me that video. Anyway, I'm done talking about my kids.
You should get on TikTok simply for the recipes, Ariel. Tons of great looking food all over the place.
I try. Well, I mean, I've seen stuff like that. It just goes by so quickly.
Well, you pause it.
Yeah, you pause it.
And pause it. And then it's just a still photo of food. I don't know. It's just
a lot of times there's a recipe. You pause it and get the recipe.
I just go on YouTube for that.
Ariel, if you like YouTube, you'll love TikTok.
No, I don't want to.
I was the same way, bro. I was the same way.
You can see terrible videos that Chris Zaha makes. So
no, I don't want to talk that.
Now
you definitely don't want it. No.
Jana uses it to like get coupons and to figure out what coupons she could get from like Walgreens, CVS, or whatever.
How? Like they advertise on their little thingy?
No, the crazy coupon people who figure out this stuff out, that they get it and they post it. So Jana, usually on Sunday or Monday, she'll lay in bed and watch TikTok. She'll do her order on Walgreens. Then she'll get my phone and do an order for my mom. And my mom thinks it's like the most wonderful thing.
Nice.
And so my mom, so Jenna pay like $4 and then get 15 back in cash and get like 4 tubes of toothpaste, 3 shampoos, ibuprofen. I mean, just all these things that you can get and have this big grocery bag full. And then my mom, whatever she can't use, she donates to like the church, and they send a bunch up to like West Virginia and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, and my mom thinks it's the coolest thing, but my mom thinks it's free, but really we're paying like $4, $5, $10. Who cares, right? My mom is just so happy to get the stuff, and it makes my mom happy. So
that's great. That's great.
So you can do like a bunch of different stuff with TikTok. It's not just all about stupid dances. That's what I thought it was, because that's what it used to be, was like stupid dances. But I mean, there's just a ton of whatever. I mean, it's great to watch while you're using the bathroom.
Did you watch the thing I sent you yesterday, Frankie?
Where'd you send it?
On Messenger, I think.
Oh, I don't think
it's a guy where he, for his lunch every day, he rolls for a sandwich, like he rolls D&D dice, and he has like a list of different kinds of breads and meats and vegetables and cheese and all this different stuff. And whatever he rolls, that's what he makes and eats.
Wow, that's crazy.
And there was one day it was like tuna and peanut butter and mayonnaise, and I mean it was terrible. But then there are other times where it sounds weird and he makes it and it turns out pretty good.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up here. I'll watch it. The series where I'll let fate decide my lunch.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just little kind of niche things like that are fun.
That's cool. That's weird.
You might.
It is weird, but you also kind of get invested. It's like, well, what's it going to be? How weird's the sandwich going to be today?
Mm-hmm.
What terrible combination.
The fact that he has all those ingredients also on hand, it's kind of weird.
Well, and you could see he's, I don't know, like maybe 3 weeks into it, I think.
Okay.
And the first day or two, he had a lot more limited items, and he's since expanded it to where, like, when you get to the last roll, it's for your sauce. So he has 20 different items.
Wow.
And then rolls the 20-sided die from Dungeons
and Dragons. Oh my gosh!
And he rolls it, and whatever number comes up, he has to pick that corresponding item.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, there's some crazy things on there. So.
Yeah, sometimes I like to just go through the live videos and see who is live.
Oh yeah.
Because you see some crazy stuff there too.
Sure.
People singing or playing music or. So, fellas, we just hit the 2-hour mark. I think we're going to wrap up.
Sounds good.
Michael, we would love to have you on again. Ariel, thank you for being here and being a part of this with your friend.
Thanks for being on, Ariel. I was glad we finally got a chance to actually talk. We've messaged back and forth different times over the last couple of years, but this was nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Great.
I hope to do it again soon.
Ariel is like, seriously, he is a brother shipper. I mean, he is like the nicest guy.
Yeah.
Not really. he's like this.
Making a face.
Well, I'm just who I am.
He don't like compliments.
I don't like compliments. It's kind of.
Yeah, I don't either. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you, you're a nice guy, man. I'm glad, and I'm really glad that we record each week. I look forward to it.
Me too. Thank you.
If you were here, I'd hug you.
Wow. You already gave me like wrestling tights. It's okay. It hugs me enough. That's you in a spiritual way hugging me.
Michael, before we go, does your family know how you feel about wrestling and the brothership?
We watch wrestling together every week.
You know? What do you watch?
We watch Raw and SmackDown every week, all three of us. Amy, she plays on her phone a lot, but she grew up, watching it when she was a kid with her dad and her brother. Mm-hmm. And, she's more involved at different times. If there's something that really catches her interest, she'll pay more attention. But Ashlyn and I, we watch NXT and we watch NXT Level Up and we watch Dynamite and Rampage. And, if Ring of Honor gets on, if Tony Khan does something with Ring of Honor and gets them a show, we'll probably watch that. We watched NWA for quite a while. When Billy Corgan brought it back, we watched it on YouTube, the first stretch they had it, and then, they kind of stopped with COVID, and we subscribed to the NWA Power thing through Fight TV, I think it was. And we would watch that every week. We ordered a few of their pay-per-views. I think it was the last fall maybe when they ran that, one night they had a women's pay-per-view and then they had another pay-per-view the next night. We ordered both of those. And
I watched the Briscoes versus La Rebellion.
Oh, was that from the Impact?
No, it was NWA. It was Mecha Wolf and Damien. No, Bestia 666.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it because I was curious what they were going to do with the Briscoes. And when I watch wrestling, I'm more interested in how they're going to begin it and how they're going to end it. And so the ending was one of the Briscoes was going for a move, and the other one ran over the corner, and someone tripped him and held him down. And then Mecha Wolf, who had a match or two in the WWE, rolled up the Briscoe and pinned them. But then you saw the Briscoes just won the Impact titles.
Right.
Deservedly so.
Sure.
One last question. So the Briscoes made some inflammatory statements. Do you think that should keep them out of AEW?
Well, you could probably go back and find something that most everyone in the business has said at some point, tweeted out, whatever. It just depends, when you're dealing with a corporation, for your programming, you probably have to be a little more mindful of that kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, have they shown any kind of contrition? Made any kind of apologies? Done anything along those lines? Because that kind of can go a long way if they haven't.
Well, haven't
done anything in that regard. Then maybe you don't.
The same thing happened with Brian Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people say things sometimes and they think about there's no consequences, but really,
he said some really out there stuff too. Some bad stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yep. I agree. But sometimes people say it thinking that they're playing that character. And I'm not justifying what he said, but right. I'm just saying people think that they're playing a character and they're the heel and they can say whatever. But times have changed, and I mean, you look at Ric Flair and the things that he said in the 70s.
Oh yeah, and he's Ric Flair will always be my favorite wrestler, but I can separate the wrestler from the person, and it's just so sad. Everything about him anymore is just so sad.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw earlier today multiple people posted in different groups where he thinks he has another world title run in him. And you don't, Rick. I know that it's a situation with him where being Ric Flair, that's his identity.
Well, you think that
he doesn't know how to live without that.
You think in part it's maybe because Rock and Roll won the NWA title and all that stuff?
No, I think with him simply he can't live without that kind of attention.
I agree with you.
And ego. Part of it, the ego. But I think part of it could also be being an orphan like he was, not knowing his
you read my
family
mind.
history. And, I'm sure some of that, it fed into him because it seems like he's always had an inferiority complex.
Mm-hmm.
Where he needs validation from other people to feel good about himself. And I understand that. I have issues with self-esteem and things like that. I get it. But I didn't spend 40 years on the world stage.
Mm-hmm.
And to where I had that adulation and everything to where it became part of my personality and I can't function without it. But that's where he's at, I think. And he can't deal with not being in the spotlight. And it's sad. He can't just live a life. He has to live that specific life.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like he knows.
You know what? Like, you're Michael who owned a restaurant and did this, you did that, but now you are Michael the husband.
Yep.
You're Michael the father to Ashlyn.
Yep.
And so something that was really telling to me was they called Ric Flair Pop Pop. And I thought when I heard that, it's like he don't want to be called Grandpa because Grandpa means old.
Yep.
And so I immediately was just like, I don't see him as being the type of grandpa either that is like, come on, let's go fishing. Let's go here. Let's go do this. Let's go spend the time together. That it's about him and what he wants to do.
You know what's funny? Have you seen, and Benji has posted this photo a couple of different times in the group, but he took Antonio to some convention or something one time, and there's a picture that he has of Antonio with Ric Flair. And Rick has the biggest smile on his face. And if you didn't know who the people in the picture were, if you just saw that picture, you would think that that's a grandfather and his grandson.
Mm-hmm.
And the smile that Rick has, I mean, it's amazing that somebody he didn't know, you know, they take that picture and it looks like there's just such true emotion coming through.
Mm-hmm.
And then you juxtapose that with, like you said, how he's probably really not that way with grandkids that he has. And it's sad.
Mm-hmm.
And this, you know, this is one of the things that we didn't touch on this. Matt Crowder mentioned me about the Shawn versus Bret, because I always take an opportunity on anything about Bret Hart to point out that Shawn is better than Bret. And I don't know where you guys land on that, but to me, Shawn is better than Bret, because I don't think there's anything in the ring that Bret could really do that much better than Shawn, if he could do it better than Shawn. But Shawn had the advantage of charisma. Shawn could cut a much better promo. But all that stuff aside, like I said before with Flair, I can differentiate the performer from the person.
Mm-hmm.
I can readily admit Shawn Michaels, one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time. That guy was a fucking dick.
Oh, that's true.
And probably still is. Maybe not as bad.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't have any bearing on his performance as a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see Bret Hart fans being able to separate the performer from the person all the time, and the amount of bitterness that Bret has towards people and the business, and the whining that went on for a long time with him. I don't know. That's one thing that always bugs me, because if you're going to make the argument between Shawn and Bret, people will use everything bad about Shawn backstage and everything else against him. Nobody brings up the fact that Bret Hart cheated on his wife at every opportunity he had throughout their entire marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me he's Mr. Morality and good person. He's not. Nobody really, with the exception of probably Bobby Eaton. I'm not sure there's been a really good person in the wrestling business when you get down to it. Bobby Eaton seems to be the only guy that nobody has anything bad to say about. I don't know.
That's true.
But yeah.
Maybe Rey Mysterio. I don't know.
Well, that could be. That could
Oh,
be.
wow.
I guess I haven't really heard anything bad about Rey Mysterio.
Me neither. That's why I was thinking, like,
Although I do kind of think he's the reason we have Dominic on TV every week, so that's kind of a negative. I like, you know, Dominic, I'm sure he needs more experience.
Yeah.
If he didn't have that last name, maybe he wouldn't even be in NXT, but he should be down there working now, I think.
Yeah.
Well, let's
I don't know.
agree that it's really not even the last name.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It's not even a last name. I'm sorry, Mysterio is not a last name.
Right. Right.
That's true.
That's fair.
It's not a last name like Ariel Bologna and Cheese Sandwich.
Oh my gosh, those are hilarious. Freaking Crowder. Can you do a I don't even want to. Can you do any impressions?
No.
No, not really.
Okay.
Right now, I'm doing an impression of a guy that's about to pee his pants.
Oh really? Let's wrap it up then.
Yeah, let's be done.
Yeah.
Well, I know,
don't
but
cause any bladder issues here.
well, the
Exactly.
conversation just keeps going. This is how it is when you're with friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like, I always just joke my parents when I was a kid, because it's like they would sit here for 5 hours with people. Then they go, well, you stay on. And then the people would say, oh, well, how's Frankie doing in school? And my parents would stand there and talk another 30 minutes about whatever, right? It's like people just kept talking and talking. That's how it is with friends. It's
Yeah,
like,
I get it now. When I was a kid, I was the same way when my parents were talking with like relatives or friends of theirs, and I just want to go home, like during family parties and everything.
or the police that were interviewing them.
Come on.
You made that conversation last time. Or
I did, but that was not what I was referring to.
Okay, my bad.
No, it's fine. No, I totally get it now. But yeah, it's so good to talk with like friends and everything. And even though it's like our first time, Michael talking, like one on here or actually like what's it called, like live or real time, I should say.
Yeah.
It's already been 2 hours, over 2 hours, and it went by quickly like that.
Yeah.
And it's great. I love it. Battery's gonna die on my laptop, but it's fine. And Frankie has to pee, so no, but I love it. I hope to do this again though.
So Michael, thank you
great.
so much. Ariel, thanks for taking time off. I worry about you working so much.
Yeah.
I requested tonight and tomorrow off, so I could work the weekend, because I'm going to work the weekend. For the next 5 months, I think they want me to do that.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, they want me to pull 7 days a week for 5 months.
So let's record tomorrow, because I've got an episode with Kevin Carter that we've got to post, and I'll send you a screenshot of my notes, and you can text me back anything that you want to discuss.
Okay, you said notes, not nuts, right? No, because I heard different. Also,
Yeah, if we talk much longer, my notes are going to be soaking. Fellas, thank you so much. Michael, so good to hang out with you. Ariel, thanks, buddy.
no problem.
All right. Thanks.
Take
guys.
care. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Ariel, that was your first time ever recording a conversation with a brother shipper. Can I convince you to do it more often?
No, just kidding. Of course, I just need to find time, and I need to. I need to find time. We did this conversation on my rare day off or night off, and it was fun. I loved it. I had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, it was really good for us all to be on video. You're very entertaining.
No,
You are. You're very animated when you talk. So.
oh yeah, I use a lot of hand gestures, facial expressions, I guess.
So
Yeah.
we might need to do something with the video at some point.
No, you can't. You gotta pay me for that. Just kidding. No.
Okay. How much you want? Do
No.
you work for Peanuts?
Ooh, peanuts and
Popcorn and Cracker Jack.
Jacks. But that was a great conversation we had.
It was. I had a good time with three of us on there. We talked about a bunch of stuff. I look forward to getting him back on, as soon as he sends his wife and daughter on vacation again. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about here was, Barry and Jeff, they reviewed the, I don't know, let's say top 50 or 100 or 80 or 10 action movies of the 80s. And while I can barely remember last week, I thought, well, I did spend my early, mid 80s, well, even late 80s, renting movies on the weekends, and that's how I spent a lot of my time.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think of that process. So, did you rent movies as a kid?
Yeah, that was that was one of those things that we didn't do too often, but we did it when like I had a good report card, or I did something, or my sister and I did something good in school. We weren't really big on watching movies as a family, or I should say, American movies when I was younger. I was more into renting video games, and my parents were into renting Filipino action movies. So I grew up watching those Tagalog movies. And oh my gosh, the level of overacting in those movies is so amazing. But but yeah, then later on we started renting movies like that. I still wanted video games over movies though, so that was me.
Can you remember any of the movies that you watched?
Okay. Well, for one, RoboCop. That one traumatized me actually. When I was
you saw it as the Filipino version?
Oh no, I'm sorry. You were talking about the Filipino movies?
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't remember the titles. Actually, I don't even speak Tagalog or understand it. So,
well, damn, that had to be fun watching it, huh?
Yeah, because it was just a bunch of like, oh my gosh, it was great action movies like gunfights and stuff like that, and really shitty martial arts. And there was an occasional like a comedy that my parents would watch, would rent. There was an actor named Dolpe. Well, that's what his stage name was. He was a comedian there in the Philippines. He does a lot of he was a comedic actor, so his movies were all comedy. I think there's an actor called Lito Lapid, and Fernando something, but they were like the Burt Reynolds and Clint Eastwood of the Philippines in terms of their presence, their look, their types of movies, and I actually miss watching those. I should look them up again. I should ask my parents, who were those actors? What were the names of the movies? I got to look them up again. We used to rent them from a Filipino bakery or little restaurant / video store.
Wow.
That had them, as a mom and pop place. So, they don't have those anymore.
What was the layout?
You walk in, the front part is the little cafe restaurant part. So you have the counter with the baked goods or the sweets, and then there was a room in the back, and it was just it was like a little doorway that you walk through, and it had the curtain, but it wasn't that kind of doorway with the curtain like you would see in other video stores that led to the adult section. This was just led to the video section in the back of Filipino films, and some of them have adult films in there too, but yeah, that's the the baked goods in the front, and then in the back it's the videos section.
So the comedian, you said his name was Dolphy?
Dolphy. Dolphy, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found him. He's known for such movies as Ting Ting and Sarah Penn.
Okay.
Daddy's Little Darlings.
Ooh, it sounds like a porno. Okay.
Comedy / drama. The Best in the West.
Okay.
John and Marcia. There's a looks like a Filipino name, Sa Probinsya, 1985. Let's see.
Okay.
Bata Batula, BATA-BATU.
Oh, Bata Batu? Oh.
Bata Batuta Batuta.
Yeah, Bata Batuta.
Yeah, does that mean
I'm even saying it wrong. I'm totally American.
trust me. Middle-aged white guys definitely mispronounce that. Also, Black Magic. This is 1987.
Oh, Black Magic. Yes, I remember Black Magic. Okay, I remember the title. I don't remember the movie that much, but Black Magic was one of them for sure.
Here's another one you may remember.
No,
Mr. Bugoy Goes to Congress.
Oh no, I haven't seen that one.
Once
Sounds
upon
like
a
a very-
time.
Mhm.
There's another one that I'm even going to try to read. Bakit.
Bakit. That
Yeah.
means why?
Oh, yeah. There's the rest of it. I'm just not even. I'm going to save her.
Yeah, no,
Inting the Dragon. Inting, Enteng.
Okay.
Ampong Galapong.
Okay.
Ampong Galapong. I don't know what that means.
Kala-
Yeah,
okay.
this guy's got. Who's the other actor?
I think it was Lito Lapid, LITOLAPID. I think that's how you spell it. Unless I'm making shit up again.
Oh yeah, here we go. Yep. There's Vilma Santos that he did
Okay, yeah.
a movie with. I can't pronounce that. Cristo Zapata was a movie.
Mhm.
Tatlong Baraha. Oh, he was also in The Best in the West with
Oh shit.
Yeah, okay. Cool. So we used to rent from a place called Snoopy's Video, which
Ooh.
had Snoopy on the sign. And then after a few years, they changed their name to Sandra's Video.
Mhm.
And that was our main place to go. I do not believe they had an adult section. There was another one that we would go to if we couldn't find the movie that we wanted from Snoopy's or Sandra's there. That was called Video World, and they did have an adult section. That was like
Okay.
a completely separate room with the curtain door.
Yeah. Yeah. There was one here called Video King. Actually, the owner now, he owns a Hawaiian restaurant. Nice guy. And but yeah, we were sad when Video King went out of business. But I'm glad that his name is Ken. But I'm glad that he turned his entrepreneur mindset into building a Hawaiian restaurant, and that's thriving right now, actually.
Yeah. What's that called? Is it Fuking Good?
Wow. No. Frankie. Were you a Blockbuster person, or did you have one around you?
No, we did not have one until, gosh, I don't think there was one when I was in high school. But
Okay.
when I turned 16, I didn't have time to sit and sit and watch movies. But
I
I do want to point out, the Google Doodles, that they do every day.
Yeah.
They did one for Dolpe's 92nd birthday.
Yeah, I saw. I didn't see it personally. I saw an article mentioning it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so Blockbuster, it came much later, and
Okay.
I wasn't into it. There was a time where I actually did. Blockbuster had like a send away service, and that's when Netflix really took over. So you could, it was like $9.99 a month, and you just basically made a list of the movies that you wanted, and you put them in order, right? Number 1 to 100. And then they just kept sending you movies, and you could pay for like 1 at a time, 2 at a time, 3 at a time. And as soon as it got back into, you could drop it off at the store, or you could drop it off in the mail. As soon as they got it back, they would just keep it coming. I did that for a while. But
I did too. Yeah.
That was like the mid 2000s.
Yeah, I did that also. I actually have some other movies that I've had when they went out of business. I didn't return them. Yeah. It was I did that subscription thing too. I did it with Netflix also when they first did that all DVD through mail and stuff like that. I'm stuttering right now, sorry. But yeah, I subscribed to that Blockbuster service, and I've had the movie for, I don't even know where the movie's at now. I don't even remember what movie it was. No, I think it was Stardust. That was like a Michelle Pfeiffer fantasy. I mean, she doesn't get naked. That would have been a great fantasy, but it was like a Robert De Niro was in it. I don't know who was in it. It was like some sort of like romantic fantasy movie that this girl that I was kind of seeing at the time really liked. So she recommended me to watch that movie, and I ended up renting it from Blockbuster. I had the DVD for the longest time, and then when Blockbuster went out of business, I was like, I'll just keep it.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I still have that envelope, that return envelope somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hoard much?
I did. I used to like keeping things. Sentimental value or stuff that I probably should have thrown away, but in my mind think it might be worth something later on. I still have all my comic books. I have some of my action figures and my Funko Pops and all that stuff.
Oh, what kind of Funko Pops you got?
Whatever interests me personally. So it's just random. I have the set of the original Karate Kid, because they had another one when Cobra Kai came out. They remade like Daniel LaRusso and what's his name? Billy Zabka's character. I forget his name. Anyway, they re-released those, but I had the original one with Daniel, Mr. Miyagi, and Billy Zabka's character, which I freaking forgot his name now.
Johnny,
there you go. And actually, that's worth quite a bit of money. I have the entire Golden Girls, which actually that was the last set I bought before I stopped buying Funko Pops completely. I said, you know what? When Golden Girls comes out, I'm done buying all this stuff. So
you said that?
Yeah, I said that to myself. I'm like, dude, you have so many right now. I mean, 60 isn't much. There's people that have hundreds of them, but 60 is enough for me. 60 plus is enough for me.
Yeah, my daughter, who's 13, has some. And she's got some that are signed, like Charlotte, Naomi. Cool. But now she is into, it's kind of weird because she's all into like Spider-Man now.
Oh, nice.
Like the movies with the Tom Holland, and so she's wanting to get all of the Far From Home or No Way Home or whatever. She's wanting to get all of those. And
okay.
So I'm teaching her to bid on eBay, and how to check prices, make sure she doesn't overpay.
Yeah. That's important to know,
Yeah. So this past weekend, she wanted to go to this flea market that's about 35 minutes away. And so us as a family, we went to the flea market where you saw where I ate the Filipino food. And then so it was Jana, me, and the kids, and then Jana and Alex went and did something else, and me and Andy drove to the other flea market, and we looked, and there are several booths there that sell the Funkos, and at the last one that we looked at, that was the one that had the one that she wanted. She wanted the Doctor Strange.
Oh, that's cool. I have a friend. that started collecting Funkos, and she has a lot of them now. She actually turned me on to this auction app, and they auction off like their Funko collectibles and baseball cards and figures and stuff like that all on the app. And you get to, it's like with live video. And I'm trying so hard not to go on that app and blow all my money on trying to get like these rare, one of a kind, or vaulted or flocked.
What's flocked mean?
Flocked is flocked. Oh my god, what's flocked? Is that the one with the different texture? I can't remember now. Flocked is the one with oh my gosh, I'm forgetting. I'm gonna look it up.
I'm looking it up too.
Okay.
First one that gets us a winner.
Winner of what though?
That's it.
Oh yeah, it's the one that's it's a different
fuzzy?
texture. The fuzzy instead of the vinyl or whatever it's made out of. Yeah, it's the fuzzy material that they use.
Okay.
Vaulted is the one that's out of circulation, and they put it in their quote unquote vault, whatever. There's one. Yeah, so my friend, she does that. She's collecting them. She's trying to get all the diamond ones that she can, like the sparkly Funko Pops that are diamond edition. And and she wants to make some of her own, like of her, because you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And she's on, she does adult oriented stuff. And
okay. All right.
Yeah, so she wants to sell that on her website, and and the little Funko Pops of her and whatever. So I'm all for that. I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. I don't see anybody else doing that. And if you can sign it to your fans or whoever that wants to buy it, go for it. So
yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And, well, cool. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, sorry, I have nothing else to say. But yeah. Oh, I was gonna ask you about Filipino food. Was that the first time having Filipino? Well, a type of Filipino food?
Yeah, it was.
All the things you got, fried chicken as your as your first.
Filipino. Well, it come with lumpia,
right,
and cabbage.
Right.
Cabbage. Hang on just a second, Max. Oh my gosh, Max. Sorry about that. Yeah, well, I realize that our neighbors down the road, I think that they're from, I mean, they're born in America, but I think their ancestry is Laos. They what they call the egg rolls is very similar to the lumpia, that where it has more meat and a little bit of vegetables in it, instead of like the Chinese egg rolls. Well, there's a lot more vegetables and a little bit of like chicken or something.
There's different kinds. Like the popular one in Philippines is it's actually small. It's called lumpia Shanghai, and they're these smaller, skinnier lumpia, and it's just filled with meat.
Yeah, that's how these were. These were tiny.
Okay,
like the size of your pinky.
Okay, yeah, those are the ones. And then there's other ones where it's more of a spring roll, and that's the one that has a lot more vegetables and a little bit of meat inside. That's the one that my family actually does more of. And restaurants do more of the little Shanghai ones because they can make a whole lot more of it and sell them more. So yeah, those are really good too.
Yeah, I got the chicken because I was going to be driving and I was starving.
Okay.
And so I had to have something I could eat with one hand while I still drove. And I ended up just taking a couple of bites of it and getting something in my belly, and then eating another leg. Not a fan of the dark meat on the chicken, but I made it work. And but I thought it was good. And when we go back, I'll try something else when I have both hands. I don't have to have a hand on the wheel.
Mm-hmm. Did you know that Filipinos or in Philippines, fried chicken is actually very, very popular? Like just about every fast food place has their own version of fried chicken. McDonald's over there has fried chicken. They have Jollibee, which is a fried chicken restaurant,
which we have here.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. Oh yeah, I remember it. Yeah, it opened not too long ago, right?
Right before COVID, and we were at the Buffalo Wild Wings next to it, and there was a line out the door and around the corner of the Jollibee. So it's on our list. But it's the menu looks really cool, where you get like the meat, and then you get like rice. So the rice that they served there he called it garlic rice. Mm-hmm. But really, really nice people on the food trucks, and it was $13. And I'm not saying that's expensive or it's not, but for food at a flea market, I would say it's expensive.
Yeah, I would say that too. But it's also like labor intensive to do a big ass batch of like fried chicken and egg rolls.
And when we picked up our food, there were like 4 people in line, so they were rocking and rolling.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, my girlfriend. I'm going to mention my girlfriend again. So
yeah, well, I was going to say you better, because you talked about an ex-girl. You better mention the current.
Yeah, she loves fried chicken. So she's always like, every week, it's like 2 or 3 times a week, she's getting fried chicken somewhere, either Jollibee's or there's another place that she goes to called like Star Chicken. She gets it from McDonald's. She goes to like Shakey's or other establishments over there. It's just fried chicken everywhere in Philippines, pretty much. It seems like it.
Wow.
Their KFC is even better than ours. I'm like, dude, fuck. It's pissing me off. I mean, they have like the fried apple pie in McDonald's, and that pisses me off that they have it and we don't. And it just makes me sad.
What do we have? Baked apple pie?
Yeah, we have that shitty baked apple pie. It's garbage.
Oh, okay.
It's not as, have you had the apple pie at McDonald's, like the crispy one before, back in the day when it was deep fried? No, and it was just molten hot. You don't remember? Oh, it was so good. The closest one now is I think Popeyes. Popeyes has their fried apple pie, and I get it when I can. I try not to get too much because, well, I'm diabetic. But I miss that from McDonald's. I got so sad when they got rid of it years and years ago.
Well, I think that about wraps it up here.
Yeah. There's so much more that we didn't talk about, but we're running out of time.
We're out of time. We'll see you next week. No, again, I want to thank Jeff and Barry for letting us do this. I'm very appreciative, and hearing their podcast this week, it left me wanting more, and it reminded me of why we do this podcast. Mm-hmm. One is to give the brothership a chance to talk. Another one is to give the brothership a little more entertainment that is along the lines of what Jeff and Barry do. So I want to thank Jeff and Barry for allowing us to piggyback and sort of pay an homage to those two.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much to Jeff and Barry for allowing us to do what we're doing. And you know what? What's happening next month, actually?
The CWF Legends Fan Fest, and there's just been a change, card subject to change. That always happens, right? Mm-hmm, Bob Rube is unable to make it, but Kevin Sullivan is stepping in.
Wow. That's awesome, actually. I like that's wow.
So sad that Bob can't make it. I was looking forward to meeting him, but Kevin Sullivan is a great substitute.
Mm-hmm.
That's June 4th, and there's tickets still available. And that is up in Lutz, Florida at the Residence Inn by Marriott, Suncoast Parkway. Just Google Lutz, Florida, CWF Legends Fan Fest, and you'll find out all about it. There's a nice Eventbrite website where you can buy. A lot of the brother shippers to be there, and I'll be there. Jen will be there. And the two guys that are the recipients of the Joe Christie Memorial sponsorship, they will be there as well. That's Jason Ward and Tony Butts.
Absolutely. I hope they have a great time over there.
Man, well, we're going to do our best.
Mm. Will there be a Joe Christie Memorial Battle Royal amongst the brother shippers?
That is a great suggestion. I'm going to put that out there to the fellas.
I want to wear my tights to that.
Please do.
Yeah, I don't want to post a picture of it yet.
Okay.
Well, you know what? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey,
if there's enough interest in people wanting to see me wear...
Just put the mask on.
Mask only, nothing else.
It'll never be tied to you.
Now that we mention it, though.
Well, I mean, in the professional world, you won't come to work with and end up seeing a picture of yourself in the tights.
I don't care about that.
All right, cool. All right, that's what we got this week. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for all the downloads. Thank you, Ariel, for taking the time to record with me.
Thank you, Frankie. Thank you, everybody listening. All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye.